people. Why they get offended so easy? Throw a pair. Just take it and move on. Yo, Fluffs, what's up? It's good to see you guys. Thank you all for coming. I'm glad you could make it. Vicky, good to see you. Do you have PJ Cruikshank?
Oh, good. That's still flying. Jesus still loves it.
Hey, man. Michael Korn, what's up, Peter Fabian? How you guys doing? And we are live, I think. Yo, Fluffs, what's up? It's good to see you all. Tonight's going to be a very triggersome stream for some people. We've already been having some triggered numpties like Sean Hawkins coming in.
You know, Flatzoid, both you and Dave are just
Get out of my car!
you are too much of a coward.
And Craig, if you beat the fallacy king.
You stupid woman.
That's gonna be an interesting one tonight.
Hi, I'm
Yo, Fluffs, what's up? It's good to see you all. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you could make it. It's going to be an exciting one. We've already got some Deltardians in the chat that doesn't understand when they're claiming motion due to acceleration is acceleration. Okay. So good to see everybody. How's it, Michael Kahn? How's it, Dave? And how's it, PJ?
Oh, good, brother. Oh, good. Oh, good.
My son Ryan said to let everybody know that he's slaving away for the man right now, and he still don't trust Whitey. So that's why he couldn't be with us.
There's this fact Jesus still loves us. That's the main thing. You know?
Amen. But it's good to see everybody in the YouTube lands. Thank you all for coming. I'm glad you can make it. Let's quickly see who's there so I can say hello. We do have PJ Cruikshank, obviously, Miss Smart Queen Bee, PJ, Michael Kahn, Debate Anything, what's up? Sitting Bull is already gone. Ian, what's up? Jamacho Wombat, good to see you too. Glad you could make it. Ken Linglos, thank you for coming. Sleeping Warrior, glad to have you in, man. Always good to see you. Sandro, hello, hello. Daniel Watkins, always good to see you. Barry Ross, hello. Hugo, hey, great to have you in, man. Gio, glad to have you. Jeff, good to see you. Sandro, if I haven't said hello yet. Ian Henry and Trip Canada, and I think there was one more that I missed. Liam. Thank you, Liam, for coming. Good to see you guys. Thank you for coming. Anyway, the votes stand so far. RDD or Flat Earth Society Space Pizza. 34% for relative density disequilibrium. Flat Earth, by the way. 10% Space Pizza. Globe, 52%, that would be for gravity. And simulation theory, 3%. That's interesting. What do you guys say about that?
That's dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole idea of perpetually moving upward, isn't that from the Flat Earth Society?
Yeah.
That's exactly what Dell pushes, guys.
Into what, from what, and what's moving us, and how did we get in motion? You know.
You know, the sad part of this is he denies it while he fights for it. He does exactly what the Globetards do. I fight for Earth curve that I don't see. I fight for Earth spin that I don't see. Dell fights for acceleration that he says he doesn't fight for. When he throws objects like bottles and accelerates them. See, I'm accelerating, therefore it makes my point. I accelerate a car, therefore it makes my point. So acceleration then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, it's just idiotic. This whole Dell story, upwards rising Earth, it's not accelerating, it's a straw man, it's just utter bullshit, and the people should get their heads straight. They really have no idea what's going on.
Was everything else, like stars and everything else like that's moving upward as well at the same?
Where's it moving to?
What? That's dumb as shit. Moving up to where? And which way's up?
Yeah.
Who determines up?
And if it's not from a heliocentric model, what put it in motion? You know what I mean? What's going on? That's weird. It's weird. They'll just say, God, you get into motion, you know what I mean?
But if you guys want to see how retarded these Deltardians are, I'm going to quickly show you. We're gonna start off with the execrate
Oh wow.
short that he just put out.
Wow.
This is the type of idiocy you get from these people. Hey, Debatable D, what's up? Just look at the level of incompetence from the Deltardians, and they're trying to say we are ignorant, okay? And I'm not going to say anything till the shorts finish, and then you guys say something.
Is he picking on Sav as well?
No, this is specifically what I said to Raichi. Yeah.
To have weight, you literally need something to be static. It needs to actually sit still. Gases never sit still.
I'll let it play first finish, then I'll tell you what's the issue here. Execrate, do you even know what the hell you're doing, man?
Looks like he's mixing vegetable oil in with water.
What is this supposed to show?
Oil and water.
You are the one with the burden to prove, not me. And all the objects are always in motion. That's why it's called static. You understand what static means? It's still actually in motion.
Okay, so let me quickly tell you what happened there.
What?
Hey, Dave Banner, Saddlebum, what's up? Mojo Shop, glad to have you guys in. And Richie, hey. Okay, so anyway, execrate. Gas is unbonded. Liquids is bonded. You placing liquid in a container on a scale and stirring it, it's still got the same amount of pressure pushing on that scale. Gases don't sit still, they move in all directions constantly. So in other words, the gas molecule hits and bounces off.
Yeah.
It doesn't stay there and push on pressure to carry on giving measured weight.
So that was
You
his point.
complete an utter moron.
I didn't even think that was the point he was trying to derive. Wow. Crazy. I didn't know what was going on there. What's he mixing bloody oil and water for? What's that got to do with gas?
But I mean, these people make my pressure rise because that's how stupid they are. That's how stupid they are.
They don't even know how things behave. This is why they're able to fool them with that Kelly character in the ping pong paddles and the little ball of water. Do you think that water is going to remain in a ball and have the elastic characteristics to allow it to bounce back and stay in a little cohesive gob? It's going to hit that paddle and disperse. It's going to break up into little tiny pieces of water or whatever. It's not going to bounce back like that. That's retarded.
Mad Max says, I accidentally hit pizza space.
Wow.
But anyway, guys, it's very simple. Gas is unbonded, so that means they don't stick to each other. There's no force of attraction to be able to stick to one another. They can't bond. So they're literally just bouncing off one another, and they got spaces in between them. A liquid, it's bonded. So it's able to stick. That's why when you put liquid on your hand, it's able to stick to your hand. You get wet, you get saturated by water, whatever. That's how it is. It's bonded. It's two different things. And the fact that people are literally not understanding that gas and liquid are two different things, that's the sad part. I just had to put that out before we get to Dell versus Nick. Anyway, shout out to Phuket Word. You really did awesome with Dell, man. I really, really commend him for keeping his cool. Obviously, we're not going to go through the whole 3.5 hour debate because at the end of the day, it was also just, okay, you believe what you believe, I'll believe what I believe, and we'll go on. Because Dell, just handwave just misses everything, as usual. We can literally debunk their whole paradigm in under a minute.
Hugo in the chat. He was asking what RDD is in the poll. I gave him what it stands for. Maybe you might want to go over that a little bit for some people that maybe have never been here before or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll quickly explain it. Hi, Andy Smith, good to see you. Simora, the most important question when it comes to pizza theory is whether pineapple is allowed on pizza or not. I say yes.
Yeah, baby.
Pizza. Mm-hmm. It's not for everyone, but I enjoy it.
Yep.
Okay, so anyway, let's quickly debunk Dell in under 10 seconds.
Dell's in the chat. Dell's in the chat.
Hey, Dell, check here. Look, I'm going to quickly debunk you in 10 seconds. You know what that's called? Unbalanced force. No acceleration required. You're welcome. Literally, that's relative density disequilibrium and debunks your whole argument. You require an acceleration. I didn't have acceleration now. I had an unbalanced force. Thank you very much. Because what happens is the object is unbalanced with the air around it, the medium around it. That's why we have densities. Not because you have acceleration, it's because it's unbalanced force. Now, when you drop something like a water bottle with everything inside the water bottle, it's explained to you. It drops at the same rate. So it all has the same net force of same vector, same amount of force. It wouldn't separate. I can't help it. You're just too ignorant to understand this. LJ, good to see you. Roger Ledwell, thank you very much for your super chat, man. Parabolic water is tasty.
Parabolic water.
Thank you very much. He says density doesn't cause motion. Okay, let's do it again. Oh, shit. Density just caused motion. Dell, get your head out of your ass. You've lost totally how many times? You just have no argument, mate. The fact you still think you've got an argument is sad. And it's crazy that he's not blocked in my chat, but I'm blocked in his.
Yeah. Usually
weird how that works. Oh, poor Bev. The Bev tards are also going at me. Yeah, because they can't accept that our foundations are horizontal. Okay, so let's go over the debate with Nick and Dell, and then we can see just how Dell does what he usually does, just hand wave dismisses everything and thinks he's got something, which is bad. But yeah, shout out to Nick. I think he did an awesome job keeping it cool with him. Dell really needs to catch a wake-up call and realize that he really is ignorant to the subject. I'm sorry to say.
I'll make mine smaller. You got a widescreen. I just got this. I don't know what. Yeah. Okay.
Go to where start debating.
I think it's the same when I do it. You know, my.
Okay. Okay. Looks like we're good. Okay. So it looks like people can hear us both, and they can only see. Well, they can see us both now on the stream. So, man, it's a shame we didn't catch up with you when I was back in the UK, but I was pretty tied up, pretty busy.
I think I just missed you. We went to Blackpool. I think it was the following week. I think you'd already probably left.
Ah, right.
Okay, let me explain this again to Dell, guys. But why free fall ceases? It accelerates at the same rate.
What does that mean?
The net force
ceases.
Sorry?
What does that mean? Free fall ceases.
He doesn't get. The bottle is falling with everything inside it. He says it's not separating while it's falling. Why would it?
Why would it?
It's all going at the same rate. The net force is zero. Do you understand? To have a net force, it has to literally apply a vector, and everything is applying a vector at the same rate in the same direction. The same amount of force. Cancels out.
Globetrotters, well, they're the ones that are claiming motion at all. You know what I mean? Wow.
I mean, what does he think happens in a zero-G plane?
That's what I was just going to say. It's just free fall, giving the illusion of zero G because you're inside of something that's falling at the same rate you are.
Yep. Roger Edward, change your name to Jimmy. He'll come VC. Thank you very much for the super chat, Roger. Appreciate it. If you guys want, we can allow Bobby, Dell in, but I can guarantee it's not going to get anywhere because he's just going to get triggered and insult us like usual. Because the guy literally doesn't understand the things being said. Unbalanced force, zero net force. Those words literally take your argument and throw them in the dustbin. There's no straw man here. The only one that's straw man is him claiming acceleration while fighting for not acceleration. He says, gas, liquids, and all accelerate at the same rate as globe rhetoric. No, it's not. You push globe rhetoric, you idiot. You're pushing the equivalence principle. That's globe rhetoric. The globe says the Earth is moving upwards to meet the object. That's exactly what you claim. We don't push gravity. Okay? We don't push anything of the globe. Apparently, you don't get that. You push in the globe, Dell. This has been explained to you many times. Nah, Dell won't get triggered. Well, there is still a place here, Dell, if you want to get in. The link is above. What do you guys say about that?
Sure.
It will be more exciting to talk to Dell self instead of this because...
Sure, Flats. It's up to you, dude.
Demonstrating any other vector, okay. That was the vector.
Oops.
He doesn't understand how unbalanced forces work. I couldn't help him.
Wow.
Yeah, well, guys, we said Dell can come in, so there's the link above if he wants to come in. So long, we'll go and listen to the awesome Nick. Shout out Phuket word again.
Okay.
I'm sure it will happen one day, mate. I'm sure it will happen one day.
Yeah. Do you get some sun?
At the petrol station, beside of me, and I kind of recognised the back of him. You know, I realised who it was, and I said, "All right, Ranty."
That's quite amusing.
Bumping into Ranty. That would be bumping into Ranty would be amusing. He bumped into Ranty in the petrol station. He was saying.
Okay.
I bet Ranty shit his.
I bet Ranty did shit himself.
Okay, Dell. He says demonstrate them excelling. Okay, on a train or in an airplane, everything's moving together at one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how's that? If you're able to sit on your seat and drink a glass of wine in an airplane, why? It's accelerating at the same rate, Dell. This guy's really, it's a waste of time.
Was that it though? Was that the extent of your conversation?
He went and then stuck his hand out to shake my hand and then scuttled away.
Oh man, where was that on the way?
I just want to get to where they actually debate.
Does Ranty live in Blackpool?
It's great. Just
no, wasn't he just outside?
Great way of
I think it
life.
was just outside Blackpool though. I think it was just outside Blackpool because he went to Blackpool a lot though. Everybody's saying, "Let's go! Come on, Dell, come in." It's moving because it's moving. Come on, Dell. Hey, Scott, what's up?
Just like that's.
Notice, remember the last 2 times I went on to Dell's show, how triggered he got and just didn't want to hear anything and then insulted me and kicked me off? Yeah. There's a reason for that, guys.
Yeah.
He can't accept his idiocy is seen by everybody and we're calling him out for his idiocy. He's literally pushing flat earth society nonsense. Dell, get your head out of their ass, man. Stop pushing flat earth society nonsense. You're better than this.
There didn't have to be all these separate camps and stuff, but I don't waste my time worrying about it. You know, I'm sure you don't either, mate.
Not these days. No, there's because you're always going to have division and discussion. Discussion's
Agreed.
fine, and yeah, it's great. I mean,
You're always going to get
in a way,
division.
it's nice to
Truth
have-
causes division.
Exactly.
You know, if there weren't division, then we'd all be like hive mind or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we're never
That's
gonna. That's true. Dell, we can have an ordinary conversation if you actually come in and behave yourself. We all saw the last 2 times I went in how you were the one getting triggered and swearing at me and insulting me. I was just speaking normal. So stop projecting, mate. You can come in. You don't have to talk to me even. You can talk to anybody on the panel. I'm sure they'll all be happy to tell you how wrong you are.
Absolutely.
So yeah, click that link and come in.
He's already people calling people vaginas and everything. That's that word is Scottish for vagina, by the way. FUD.
It's all about the displacement. It's all about the displacement. Okay. Goes all the way back to Archimedes. It's not a difficult concept, really. It really isn't. That's how I explained it to my grandson. I said, if you made a statue exactly the same as you, made out of air, which one would weigh more? The statue or you? And he said, well, me, of course. And I'm like, right. So let's say we make that statue out of water. Okay. Now we make it out of water. What's going to happen now? Is that going to weigh more than you, or is it going to weigh less than you? He says, I think it'll weigh more than you. All right. I said, now that's the whole reason why you float or sink. You make a hole in whatever you're in, exactly the same shape as you. So that amount of material, what is the balance between your weight and its weight? And that's going to determine which way you go. It's just like a scale. It works just like a scale. He's like, oh, I get it. Like he's 11 now, you know. I mean, just like, come on.
It's simple, yeah. It's just based on displacement. But that's why I say when you have an unbalanced force and you have that thing sitting there and it's not able to be supported by that medium around it, it's going to be unbalanced, and that's why it falls. What's up, Dell?
Hello there.
How's it going?
Not bad.
Dell.
Yeah.
So what's your issue with unbalanced forces?
Can you hear me okay, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I've not got an issue. You know, Flatzoid, this is the way you always start. You know, what's your issue with unbalanced forces? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Put it in context. What is it that we're actually going to discuss here? We need to have some agreements first and foremost. So we're first going to ask, what is a force? What's force?
You tell me. You're the guy. You're the expert. You're coming and saying everybody's dumb, so tell us.
I never say you were dumb. Look at the difference already between me and Nick's discussion, Flatzoid. You're combative because you're insecure, son.
Okay, a force is a push or a pull that causes a mass to move. Okay, go on.
I got you.
Right.
Displacement.
Force. A force.
Displacement.
So motion.
Okay, so I'm just going to give you a good example, all right? You have a tub full of water. You step into the tub. Something forced that water out of the tub. What was it that forced the water out? It was the displacement of your body. So therefore, displacement forced the water out of the tub.
No, the action of a force, that being that you moved towards the water and then occupied that space. So now you have to move the water because two things can't occupy the same space. So in every given scenario of that example you just gave, it's motion. You motion towards. I'm not finished. You motion towards it. You moved into that space. Two things cannot occupy the same space. So now the water's pushing to occupy that space that your foot now occupies. So I don't know what you're talking about.
So one of two things had to yield, right?
Yes, because of motion.
One of two things had to yield, either me or the water. So the water yielded as a result of my displacing it, as you just so eloquently explained.
Yes.
So therefore, the displacement was the force.
No, the force was your motion into the water, displacing the water. As you move towards the water and push the water. Listen, you're pushing the water out of its way. You're moving it. So force is motion. Okay, simply.
No, force is not motion. Motion is a product of force.
Force, yeah.
So
not force is motion.
Without motion, identify force for me.
Force is what gives a push or a pull. So motion is a byproduct of a force giving a push or a pull to matter.
I don't want to be condescending, right? But I'm trying to have a discussion with you, and we can't get past the first point.
I'm just answering you. What's condescending? I've answered your question simply by physics.
Flatzoid, I just stated I don't want to be condescending. Do you not listen to anything anybody says, sir? This is why it's so difficult, because you're so triggered all the time. I say clearly I do not want to be condescending. Okay? So a force is motion. Force is the word that we give to describe motion.
So motion is the byproduct of force. Then force isn't motion. That's your issue.
Listen clearly. Force is a word to describe change. Change is motion. We observe change in science. Science is based on change. That means something changed, something moved. Okay? That's
Okay.
So what we do is we try and quantify that change, and we ascribe words like force, because force is the word to denote motion, something changed.
Okay, let's put it this way. If I have 100 newtons on a scale, can you show me the change there?
Sorry?
If I have a scale and I have something sitting, and let's say 100 newtons on that scale, it's sitting still. My phone is now on a scale.
Yes, but that's the point.
Yeah, it's got a force on the scale. Is it moving?
Yes, there's a motion of one towards the other.
Where's the movement? Show me the movement.
Flatzoid, how can you have two things pressing together if one of those things isn't in motion towards the other?
It's unbalanced. Literally, like you said, it can't take up the same space.
Listen, we're not having a conversation, right? I'm making the point for you. How can you have two things pressed together without one of those things going towards the other thing?
Displacement.
Flatzoid, how can you have two things pressed together without one of those things pushing on the other?
Displacement.
Explain.
It cannot take up the same area. So the medium around the phone is displaced by the phone, and the phone sits on the next surface, which would be the scale. It's not showing any motion, but it has force attributed. In other words, an unbalanced force.
Well, there's something pressing it onto the scale.
So
the unbalanced, the object itself.
So it's very simple. That's what I'm saying. There's two things pressing together. You're getting a reading of weight. So something's pressing against something else. So there's a force at play.
Yeah, unbalanced force. The phone
relative
is
density within the given medium. Listen, movement is caused by force. Cause and effect. Listen, cause and effect cannot be one and the same. Okay, so movement is not force. Movement is a byproduct of force. Okay, so you can't have cause and effect be the same thing.
So
now the fact of the matter is that the relative density, like I explained before, if you made a little phone replica exactly the same dimensions and size and shape as the phone, which one is going to weigh more? Which one is going to be denser? It's of course going to be the phone. Therefore, the medium cannot support it.
So motion's a product of force.
Right.
So can you identify now and show me force on its own? Show me force on its own.
What do you mean? Sure, I just did. My phone on a scale.
Listen, he just claimed a cause and effect. He's
mass
just claimed
times acceleration.
Listen. You just claimed that force causes motion, so that's a cause and effect relationship. So now you have to isolate what you call force and show me it.
Okay, well, force is mass times acceleration, which is basically the relative density of the object within the given medium. We get a different force when we change the medium. Therefore, the medium is the IV.
You're getting motion. You're getting motion.
Okay.
Dell. Listen. Listen. That guy. I don't know your name, mate. But you're saying the right things, but you just don't comprehend what you're saying. So I've asked you. You've said force causes motion, and then I've said, right now isolate force for me, and you gave me an equation, which is F equals ma, which is telling you that force, the word force, is a quantification word for movement of matter, motion.
Can I just ask a quick question, please, Dell?
Yes.
What happens if you apply a force and there isn't enough force there to move an object? There's no motion then.
Michael, see, to press anything, you have to motion towards it. So if you right now want to go and try and move a brick wall of your house, you have to move towards it and put the pressure on it. You have to move towards it. That's the force. You moving towards and applying pressure is what we quantify a word called force. Motion. F equals ma is telling you force equals, so the word force is not the thing, it's just the word we're using to describe mass and motion. Simple.
Mass times acceleration. Force is just the quantification of the
Motion.
acceleration of the mass. It's literally force causes the mass to accelerate.
Right,
That's
isolate
what it
force
is.
for me. Right, demonstrate force on its own for me, Flatroid. Go.
I just did an object on a scale.
No.
There's a pressure reading. It's not moving. It's got a force.
Flatroid, take that off your hand. Right, now your hand's a scale, and put your phone in the other hand. Now, what do you have to do to get that onto the scale?
You place it there so I can
Move
displace
it
the
and
medium.
motion it onto the scale. So now there's a pressure happening. So what's causing that pressure? That's the point of contention. But we can't get to that point in the discussion because you guys don't even comprehend what the word force means.
The displacement is what gives the force.
You're just going round in circles. This is because you're intellectually dishonest and you don't want to account for your ego here.
You don't. No. This is you hand wave dismissing that unbalanced forces is the reason we see what we see. There's no such thing as acceleration causes a force.
No, motion is force.
No, motion is a byproduct of force, Dell.
Right. So literally, I isolate. Flatroid, I want you to isolate force for me. Can you send me 4 grams of force?
If you push a car, Dell, are you applying a force to accelerate the car?
Yes.
Is the car accelerating before you push it?
What do you mean is accelerating?
Does the car accelerate before you push it?
Well, it's stationary relative to me.
No, it's not moving. The car is still. I have to apply a force to push it to accelerate. The acceleration, the motion, is a byproduct of me pushing it, of forcing it.
Yes, moving towards it, applying a pressure, using motion to put it into motion. Exactly, Flatroid. Exactly.
So you're saying we should all just sit still and just hope things happen?
What are you talking? Why are you playing this silly childish game, son? Misrepresenting what I've just said. It's you that doesn't grasp this. You've gave an example and I've just highlighted it for you. You have to use motion to go to the car, apply pressure on it, and use motion to make the car move. Exactly what I'm saying to you.
I had to apply a force for it to move.
So what part of you?
Yes, I move towards the car. I can't be telepathic and say, my force is pushing that car.
Now you're getting it, Flatroid. So you moved towards the car, motion.
Yeah.
Then you pressed on the car, motion, and the car moved, motion. What part of the force is there? What's the force?
Okay, let's say I went to try to push a tank or a bus. I'm going to push it. Is it going to move? I move towards it. I pushed on it. I don't give enough force. Someone else comes. Hey, let's add some more force to it. Now it moves. Is it because we moved towards it to push it? No, we applied enough force to move the object. Movement is a byproduct of a force, Dell. This is the issue. We can move towards it. That's not the issue. This is reality. We have to move. We human beings.
Yes, Flatroid.
But the movement itself comes from the force applied.
The force is your motion towards it. And if you've got enough mass to overcome its inertia, you will move it. Because you need more matter and motion to move bigger states of matter. You always need motion. You can't escape. This is ridiculous now that you guys can't comprehend that you need motion for motion. That's what force is. Listen, force isn't a thing that you can isolate. Isolate force.
I just did on a scale.
No, you didn't. You use motion and put it together. Now the two things are pressing together, so something's moving towards the other thing. So isolate
unbalanced force.
Isolate force and demonstrate force on its own for me right now, Flatroid.
I did.
No, you
phone
didn't.
On scale.
Take the phone off your hand. Now you've just got an empty scale. What are you going to use to put the thing on the scale? Motion.
Motion doesn't cause a force, Dell. Motion is a byproduct.
Wow, this is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Motion is a byproduct of force.
I'm going to keep quiet, and the other guys can tell exactly the same things to you because you just don't hear from me.
Go for it. Go for it.
Motion is a byproduct of force. Okay, any force is transferred to the object in motion You understand?
No.
And that can be transferred. Okay, so in other words, I can't make a ball fly until I apply force to it. So I throw the ball, right? Along with it is what's called kinetic. Listen, Dell, shut up and let somebody fucking talk.
I heard you.
So you've got kinetic energy that was transferred from me throwing the ball. That ball in motion now has kinetic energy, which is transferred. When it hits something, that energy is going to transfer once again.
So are you finished?
Yes.
So let's go back to the very start of your statement. You just claimed something transfers from one object to another.
Yes.
What is that just transferred? Isolate it and show me it.
Thermodynamics.
Energy.
First law of thermodynamics. Don't you know first law of thermodynamics is now?
Stop. You have made the claim. So if I've got this piece of matter, right, and I now push on it, your claim is that this has now got some new property.
Mm-hmm. You've expended energy. You've expended energy. You've worked. You've used energy. It's transferred and transformed. Even if you haven't transformed enough energy to move the object, you still transferred energy towards that object.
What is energy?
Work.
Motion.
Possible to do work like
motion.
Right. Motion is a byproduct again of that work. That comes from force.
Work is motion. Force is motion.
And motion depletes energy. So if you have kinetic energy, let's put it this way. It has potential energy now, this phone, and I drop it. That's kinetic energy. It's using up that energy. Correct?
No. Potential, kinetic. Potential, kinetic. Potential, kinetic.
Listen, right, so I've got this thing now, right, and you said I've used energy. So by what you're saying is that I am now giving this some new property, right? So what's the new property that I'm giving it when I let it go? I've used this energy, if I injected some new stuff into this thing.
Yes, it's called picking it up. But I gave it potential to displace the medium around it, and it has to have kinetic energy as it falls. It's displacing the energy.
So am I giving this some new property now when I pick it up?
No new property. You've picked it out of this equilibrium, and you've put it in a medium now where it is not able to support it. It has an unbalanced force. If you let it go, that unbalanced force causes the motion, which literally shows your argument that it's not moving. It's just idiotic, because it is literally moving.
So I need to be clear, right? Because obviously we've got a miscomprehension of force, and now we're talking about energies. So in my practical real world, energy and force are both quantifications of motion. Okay, that's what they are. Energy is not something I can isolate and show you that that's energy. It's a word to quantify motion. That's it. It's not telling you some property of matter, or it's something that you can isolate and say there's energy there, it's there. It's a word to denote motion. So is force. So until we can get past these miscomprehensions and this big, lack of understanding that, the discussion doesn't go any further until you agree. The fact is that force and energy are words to describe motion. That's it.
I'm going to show you something, Dell. I'm going to show you something. Pull me up full screen, Flatsoid, if you can. All right. See this liquid in the bottom of this little ampule here? There's a tube running under the liquid up into this other globe here. I'm going to make that water go up into there, and I want you to tell me what forced this liquid to go up this tube, as you're seeing. Watch, here it goes. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Going to get it up to the top. It's taking a little longer because of the fact that I was holding it. What? There, it's going up into the top. Now, what force was responsible for that liquid going from the bottom bulb up into the top bulb?
Motion.
No, there was no. What motion? Motion of what?
Well, first of all, you've picked it up. Now you've got heat, which is motion.
Yes. You're on the right track. You're on the right track.
So what does heat do to gas?
Yes.
Energy.
Expanded, right? And so what caused when that expanded, it displaced the fluid. The fluid was forced to yield to the expanding gas and travel upward against its equilibrium.
Because the gas expanded, but that's the clue to the whole thing. The gas moved, motion caused a greater pressure and forced it up the way. Well
Displaced it. It displaced it, right?
Well done.
So when the gas expanded, there had to be room for the gas to expand, right? Because it couldn't come out of the glass. So something had to yield. And what was it that had to yield to that displacement? Was this liquid. So this liquid was displaced by the expansion of the gas. So the displacement was actually what caused the force.
Your communication skills you need to work on, because I'm no 5, okay? I'm very sharp.
Well, I don't know. You've been told the same most simple damn thing about 200 times, and you still carry on with this thinking cause and effect are the same damn thing. Potential and kinetic energy are not one and the same. Cause cannot be effect.
See, when people talk about things they don't comprehend, I'm saying the things and you can tell they don't comprehend it because he's talking about motion. He's talking about heat, movement of air through heat. He's talking about gas expanding, motion, displacing things through pressure, motion. And he doesn't even comprehend that that's what he's explaining.
Yeah, but gas is always moving, Dell.
It's in motion. Why are we talking about this gas?
The motion of it.
The point is you said you need movement to cause a force. You're saying it's moving because it's moving. No.
Right.
A force, something can't move. Something can't move if a force is not attributed to it. Yes, you need a force to attribute something to move. That's how it works. That's why force equals a mass times acceleration. No force, you can't have a mass accelerating.
So something has to move towards something in order to make that move, and that's what you say for force.
All I did was change the temperature. So is heat movement?
Yes.
Okay.
So listen, Sovereign Soul, put that back on the table, and I want you to get the same effect without moving anything.
Do what?
Put it on the table. Now get the same effect without moving anything.
Well, sure. I can. All I'd have to do is apply this fucking butane lighter to the bottom of that globe right there, and it would do it right away, even faster. I didn't do shit, did I?
Okay, you know what, guys? I think it will be better if Dell comes and shows us how motion causes a force.
Oh man, you're explaining it and you don't even comprehend what you're explaining, Flatzoid.
The force had caused the motion, Dell. Literally, the energy transference of the force had caused the movement of the gas molecules to move further away, which causes it to displace. Do you get that? The gas was already moving. The heat caused it to move further because it had energy transferred to it. It had force transferred to it.
Are you finished? Put something on the table, Flatzoid, and make it move without moving anything else. Go.
I don't need to. It's stationary.
Well, I want you to show me how this is done. Move that without moving anything. I want you to just use force as you claim, this transfer, this energy stuff. I don't want you to move. Listen, you're claiming that force is something of itself, and I'm claiming and I'm telling you force is a quantification of motion. Now, your challenge is to put that thing on the desk, move it laterally in any direction you want without using motion. Go.
Why? This is a non sequitur.
But wait, let's take it right on back to the whole beginning, okay? So in order to move something, you have to
apply a force.
You have to push it with your hand, your arm, right? How did you use your arm? That's right. You had to contract and expand muscles. You had to expand muscles, right? Now, how did you expand and contract those muscles? That's right. It was through your nervous system. right?
I don't know how to.
Now, where would that nervous system get the energy to make that muscle move? That's right, from electricity. So you are a transference of energy all the way from there. The electrical impulse told the muscle to contract or expand, thereby making a movement and transforming the force right there. So electricity was the initial force.
But let's put it this way, Dal, you literally make a point. You literally make.
Sladzroid, can I say something in response to that, please?
Okay.
Right, so everything that you just described there, mate, right, I'm a mechanic to trade, right? So what you've just described is how every machine operates. There's something moves to make something else move, and it's a continual knock-on effect. But the interesting thing, which is a segue, when you look at human consciousness, is that it starts from a thought. But there's a metaphysical discussion to be had there, which is something totally different. But going back to your mechanism point, like machinery, that's exactly what happens. There's a motion of a signal that causes a motion within the muscles, which the muscles then motion and cause a pushing effect on the skeletal part of your body that you can then use to make motion of other things. So every step, motion. I'm not finished. Every step of what you just explained is something moving to cause a knock-on effect of something else moving. So you had motion to cause motion, to cause motion, to cause motion, to cause
Where was the motion? Where was the motion in the electrical impulse or the thought? Was there motion in thought?
Are you saying electricity doesn't move?
That's not what he said. He said thought, not electricity.
I just explained that. The thought part is a metaphysical discussion because it's to do with consciousness.
No, it's not. Because are you saying that that electrical impulse was enough force? Was force?
Did it move?
Was it force?
Listen, I'm explaining.
Was the electrical impulse or the thought a force?
Listen, please. Right, put your bong on the table and move it with thought.
Okay, that's the whole point.
Stop.
I want to say my statement that I want to say before he said his. The fact you're saying put it on the table and make it move, please, is the whole point. It's stationary. It will only move once we apply a force to make it move. We are observing it stationary, therefore, Earth stationary, Dell.
Right, so move it now without using motion.
You require a force to make that motion, Dell. I am literally forcing myself to touch it, to move it. It takes a force for me to move, to transfer that force to move it. Just like you take dominoes and you stack them and you hit the first domino, it transfers the force as it hits the next one.
It's just
motion is a byproduct of a force.
You keep saying transfer. Transfer means something goes from one thing to another thing. The dominoes don't gain any new property. It's just the momentum of the other one applying a motion.
Transfer the energy. Yeah, well done.
Isolate energy. That's right.
It's transfer of energy. You're an engineer and you're trying to tell me you don't understand transference of energy. Come on, man. This is dishonest.
Did you say isolate the energy?
I totally 100% understand. The problem is you don't.
I explained it to you in the most rudimentary level. You tell me I don't understand. That's why I say I call you dishonest. Because that is transference of energy. It's literally the first law of thermodynamics. I just explained it to you in very simple terms.
Energy is a word to explain motion.
And can you do anything without energy, Dell?
Without motion, no.
Thanks. Do you need energy for a force to be there?
Force and energy are the same thing.
Okay, show me force without energy, please.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
You said the same thing. So show me a force without energy.
Force is a word to describe motion, flat out. Energy, like this is why I'm asking you for these things, right? There's two things that you need to show now, right? So you think energy is its own thing, okay? Well, yeah, you're claiming energy causes motion.
I said force and energy work together. You cannot have a force without energy. Amount of energy is how much force is attributed to the mass to accelerate. Just like you said, if I stick an object on a scale, there, it's showing force and it's not moving. Force attributed, no movement.
Are you going to isolate and show me what energy is on its own?
The unit of measure of weight, yes.
Maybe I can blow this up just a little bit.
No. You don't.
So it says right here, Dell, it says in physics, energy is the quantitative property that is transferred to a body or to a physical recognizable in the performance of work and in the form of heat and light. Energy is a conserved quantity. The law of conservation of energy states that energy can be converted in form, but not created or destroyed. The unit of measurement for the energy in the International System of Units is the joule.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. You're reading from Wikipedia. But anyhow,
well, I'm just telling you, there you go. There's exactly what we were trying to explain to you in layman's terms.
Listen. You're articulating words, but you don't have the comprehension. So what you have to do is see this transference.
I don't have the comprehension.
Well, listen, you're making a claim that there's a transference of something to something else. So it's like if I was to throw a rock at you, and I would say, right, well, I've transferred that from me to you. There's the thing I transferred. There's the rock because it went from me to you. Now this thing that you claim is energy, where is it? Like the rock, show me it.
Okay, I can. Wait. Well, let's put it this way. Dell, let's just say that rock, you threw it and hit someone and it burned. You feel the sting. That's heat energy that literally hits you from the energy of the stone that was thrown. That's transference of the energy.
Yes, the friction between two surfaces caused by motion.
It's heat energy.
Literally transferred in the first place.
Motion.
No,
you're throwing it. You forced it.
Did you need energy to throw the ball?
Isolate energy for me. I'm trying to.
Why do you have to eat food? Why do you have to eat food? So that you can have energy, right?
What is energy?
And therefore, you transfer that energy, which is potential, into kinetic energy, and then you release the ball. Now you've transferred that energy.
I hear you.
Right?
I hear you.
Right? That energy that's throwing the ball is kinetic, but it also harbors a bit of potential energy, because when it finally goes to where it's going to transfer that energy, it's got to go somewhere.
You're talking about
always got to go somewhere.
You're talking about motion continually. Now I'm going to ask you again. You keep making the assertion, and you've made it tens of times just now, that there's a transfer of this energy stuff.
Yes.
From one thing to another. Now isolate this energy and show me it.
You sitting is literally isolating energy. You're still transferring energy as you're sitting. You're burning calories.
Yes.
You transferring energy.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm burning pink unicorns.
So in other words, you don't want to accept the law of energies. Is that that's the thing? You just don't want to accept it, so therefore it doesn't exist.
Right, listen. Sorry, I got distracted there with my partner coming in. No, this energy thing that you're talking about, right? So can you actually isolate it? Because I can just say, right now, I'm burning unicorns.
So it's still energy. You just change the name to unicorns.
So I would have to provide the unicorns. I'm asking you to provide the unicorns. Where is this energy?
Your wife just brought you a plate full of them.
There's energy.
Right there. Now
There's
eat
energy.
your unicorns.
Where's the energy? Where's the energy?
There, it's in the calorific.
It's in there. It's called calories.
Can I extract the energy?
Your body will convert that food into energy.
You extract it when you eat it, Dal. Your body literally consumes that energy.
Listen, are you telling me that bread should be called energy?
Yes. Calories is energy.
Are you saying that
calories are energy, bro?
Are you saying this matter here is energy?
If you don't eat, will you get weaker?
What does that mean?
Wait a second. If you don't eat, will you get weaker?
What does energy mean?
What do you mean? You're literally saying there's no such thing as energy.
What does it mean?
Telling you that bread you're eating gives you energy to be able to live, to carry on transferring that energy to something else.
What is
the first law of thermodynamics?
What is this energy stuff that you keep talking about?
It's just the unit measure of a given as a quantity.
Of what?
It's just a unit.
Of what?
Of things to work. Energy
is
literally
work. Ta-da! Ta-da!
No, movement is byproduct of the work. Dell.
Capacity for doing
you
work.
using it. You using the energy is movement. It's a byproduct of it. You don't have.
It's a capacity for doing work.
That stuff, really, man, it's embarrassing.
Listen, Dell, energy is the capacity for doing work.
Motion.
No.
The capacity for doing work and exists in various forms. Oh, I mean, like potential, kinetic, thermal, electrical, nuclear. There's, it's nothing more than a quantification of the capability for doing work.
For doing motion.
Well, that's a type of work, yes.
That's all motion.
Nuclear energy motion.
How can you?
Hold on a minute. Is nuclear energy motion?
Does something change?
Are we claiming everything's motion?
Listen, Michael. Yes, because see,
well, everything's moving. Yes, that's for sure.
I'm not finished speaking.
Not upward.
Because listen, the basis of any experience or observation is something changes. Right? Now, in order for something to change, there has to be motion. Correct?
And the motion requires a force.
Where's the motion in potential energy? I got my arm cocked back and I'm ready to throw a ball, but I don't. There's potential energy. Where is the motion?
The potential, you're just using words, potential energy. Yes, when I'm holding something, I've now got the potential to throw it, but there's no potential energy.
Wait, okay. What's your understanding of potential energy? Because I don't think you understand what potential energy is.
I'm trying to ask you what you mean.
It's the potential to work.
So give me an example.
I'll get. Imagine a slingshot or a catapult. When you stretch it back and you stretch them bands, they contain potential energy.
No, Michael, you've just stretched the fucking spring and now it wants to get back to where it was. The explanation of potential energy is a quantification of the motion that's about to happen when you let it go. It's human beings trying to describe what's going on. The word energy and potential energy is not a thing in itself. It's trying to describe what's going to happen under these conditions. That's what it means. It's not a thing in the property of the matter. It's our explanation of the motion that's about to happen.
Okay. So again, the reason we have this potential energy is because of the displacement. That's why we have this potential energy. That's why it has the potential to accelerate. That's why it has kinetic energy when I let it go, because it has displaced the air around it. I did not need a moving earth for this to happen. It's just simply the displacement. Energy requires a force.
So you just
force requires energy.
You just totally ignored the facts again, Flatzoid. And I'm a good guy. And the reason you know I'm a good guy is because I continually try and engage in these discussions, right? See, if I didn't care and I wasn't a good guy, I'd just be like, fuck you, I don't care what you say. But the fact of the matter is that I really want to help you, right?
We're helping you, Dell. Stop projecting your ignorance onto us, dude. You're literally telling everybody potential energy doesn't exist. There's no such thing as energy. And you need movement, which causes a force. No, a movement is a byproduct of force. Energy and force are together. They're literally linked. You can't have one without the other. Like I said, I picked this ball up. I have given it potential energy. When I let it go, it turns into kinetic energy because it displaces the medium around it. It had an unbalanced force, which caused it to accelerate. Therefore, no need for an upward rising Earth or any acceleration. It accelerated because of its energy transference, relative density disequilibrium.
Is that your tirade finished now, Flatzoid?
That is physics.
It's not physics.
That's literally physics.
Literally, I remember I told you about that science teacher that died right in the middle of class. I remember that. We learned that year. I was like 13, 14 years old. We were actually really getting into the studying of the potential and kinetic energies. I was really fascinated by this shit. So I'm down for
kinetic.
I really want you to understand how this works, man. Energy is nothing but the potential to do work. That's all.
Energy,
okay? It's not like you can bottle it up or anything else like that. You can quantify it
It's a concept. It's a conceptual word to describe motion and quantify motion. I've told you about 10 times and you're just too ignorant and too egotistical to actually hear what I'm saying to you.
Does a battery have potential energy?
What's the potential energy? Does
a battery have the capacity to make work? Like you can put it in something and make it work, whether it be mechanical or a radio or anything else like that. Is there energy in a battery?
No, it's just a word.
Yes, the answer is yes. Real simple. Okay. So where is the movement in that battery?
The thing is, you know, when I've got a battery, I know as a human being, you know, because, you know, how we operate, that if I now put that in a certain situation, I'm going to get motion happening, right? But see the part where you're saying it has potential, the potential to do work, or it's got potential energy, right? That's just us describing what's going to happen when we do that, when we put these two things
where's
together.
The movement? There's energy. Energy is movement. The battery has energy.
Where's the energy? Movement? Where's the energy in the battery?
It's in the battery.
What?
It's potential to do work.
Be specific. I know that's the conceptual thing, words that you're using, but
chemical reaction, Dell.
I'm talking, yes, a reaction, that's like motion. It doesn't do anything until there's a connection between 2 points and something moves.
The chemical reaction is due to the energy, Dell. The chemical reaction is due to the energy. If there wasn't energy, there wouldn't be a chemical reaction.
Without the substance in there, that's not going to happen. That's the words you should use. You keep using the word energy, and I keep asking you. Well,
the motion is due to the energy. The motion of those molecules and everything is due to the energy, Dell. No energy, no motion.
So what caused the molecules to move?
The energy.
And what is the energy?
The unified quantity of work.
What's that?
Just like my phone sitting on a table, okay?
Oh, man.
It has potential, but it can't do anything until I apply work to it, until it starts doing work. Then it has. But it stays potential until something's done to it, till you've taken it and you've actually transferred that potential to kinetic.
You finished. So you keep saying it.
This is the most simplest basic stuff, dude. I don't know why you can't get this. I'm trying.
You're fighting against me for the sake of fighting against me. It's because it's very,
no,
very
I'm trying to get you to understand that you claiming moving because it's moving is not physics. It's just a claim on ignorance. Your movement has to come from a force.
Yeah.
So what's a force?
Potential.
What's this potential?
Potential to do work from energy. That's what force. It's causing the movement. You get it?
What's causing the movement of anything?
Energy.
Does energy move, or is it just static?
Energy is literally just a unit quantification to do work.
Does energy have to move? Right, so see this energy stuff that's in a battery, does it just stay static and cause motion, or does it move to cause motion?
Okay, if you have potential energy, it gives potential to move. Right? It's static. So it's not moving. Nothing's happening.
So then the very first thing that happens, what causes the motion then? What does the energy do? If the energy is static, what does it now do to cause motion?
That's an incoherent question. What do you mean? It's static. Why will it move?
No, listen. You're claiming you use energy to make motion, okay? So I'm going to go with your concept. We've got energy. Now, this energy, is it static? Is it stationary?
Yeah, static. It's stationary. See, it's not moving.
Right. So in order for that to make something move, what does it now have to do?
You have to apply force to it. So in other words, I need to let go so it can turn to kinetic energy.
Stop. Never mind you picking stuff up and trying to derail it flat right, because you know what's happening here, son. So we've got energy, right? So like the battery, this battery has energy in it apparently. So is the energy in the battery stationary and static? It's not moving?
The battery's not moving. The battery's sitting static.
And the energy that's inside it that you claim?
Yeah. Remember, when you're charging a battery, you're sticking energy into that battery. So you're giving it a chemical reaction to be able to give that energy. That's why you can charge it.
The battery's static and the energy inside the battery is stationary as well.
No, the energy is moving because you added energy to it. It's got movement. Remember, energy Energy and force causes movement. Remember, the movement doesn't cause the energy causes the movement.
Right.
Movement depletes energy.
So
It
is energy,
transfers it or transforms it.
so is energy something that's stationary?
Sorry?
Is energy stationary?
Energy is a unit to give work. It's just a unit measure. It's a way of saying its potential to do something.
So I'm trying to comprehend your position. So Sovereign Soul talked about the battery. Okay, so the battery just sitting there on the table, and it's got this energy inside it. Is that correct? There's energy
Yes.
in the battery. So this energy that's in the battery, what's it doing right now?
It's
In the
sitting
battery.
waiting for you to use the energy.
So it's
Waiting for you to
stationary.
pick it up and stick it in a phone or stick it in a
That's
child's
right.
plaything so it
That's
can
right.
transfer that energy.
That's right. So that this energy that's in the battery right now is stationary inside the battery.
Energy is just a unit to describe to work. You get it? It's not a physical property. It's just a unit to describe to, just like you describe entropy. Entropy in itself is not a physical thing. It's a quantification of something happening. Just
So-
energy is exactly that. It's a unit of something to happen or happening.
So work is motion.
Yeah, you're using energy when you work.
Right, so is energy and are you using energy and the potential to do work? Is that the same thing you're talking about?
No, potential is waiting for it to be used. Kinetic is using.
So the battery is potential energy.
Yes, the battery sits as potential till it's actually used.
Energy has different states,
I'm
Dell.
talking
Energy has different states, just like how water has different states. Both steam, liquid water, and ice are all still the same substance, right? But they're in three different forms. So we have like what I told you before. We have kinetic energy, potential energy, electrical energy, nuclear energy. I mean, it's what form the potential to do work is in. It can also be used in describing the work being done, the energy expended.
So am I
talking
to you now, Sovereign Soul? Because I want to ask you these questions, because Flatzoid, and you jumped in to defend them for some reason, but I didn't get the chance to finish.
I would have answered anyway because
I'm trying to grasp the nonsense that's on display for me here. So this battery that you have in front of you right now, you claim there's energy in there or potential to do work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is the stuff in there stationary, or what is it that's in there?
It's a chemical reaction.
What's a chemical reaction? How can you have a chemical reaction without motion? That's right.
The motion is due to the chemical reaction, Dell.
For fuck's sake.
Yes,
Wow.
literally.
So what do you need to do to get that? So the inside of this battery has got energy in it. Then you have to connect it to two ends, and something must flow through there in order to move the energy inside the battery.
Yeah, as soon as you've opened up the cell to be able to transfer that energy, it's using the energy up. That's why a battery gets flat.
So the energy moves by itself.
No, it's transferring thanks to how energy works.
So how does energy move? So energy's moving now. So how does it move?
By doing work.
And what's doing work? Moving.
Obviously, moving is caused by the energy doing its work.
So energy's moving.
Literally, it's the energy moving it down.
So what makes the energy move?
Which kind?
Anyway, what makes
you're using energy very generically. You have to be more specific.
I don't use that word because it's a concept.
Can you see on screen yet, Dell?
Listen, energy does energy move by itself?
Energy is a unit. It's literally a unit of quantification. That's all it is. It's not a physical thing. It's a unit of quantification to do work.
See that thing there that says transferred or converted? They two things mean motion, Flatzoid.
So energy caused the motion, Dell?
No. So is energy something that's stationary and static?
Again, energy is not a physical thing.
I know.
It's a quantification. So how can it be static if it's just a quantification?
It's taken an hour and 10 minutes for you to accept that I've just explained to you fucking an hour ago. The word
Dude, you
energy,
literally... Oh,
the
man.
word energy, listen, I'm not finished, that's right. The word energy is a conceptual word that we ascribe to motion.
No, motion comes from energy. Not energy, it comes from motion, Dell.
Right, okay, so energy, how does energy cause motion? Is energy something that's static and then moves to cause things to move?
You're repeating yourself over and over.
This is ridiculous, man, honestly.
Yes, it is ridiculous because I got it on screen making my point. First law of thermodynamics dictates that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be, listen, it can only be, this is the key word here, transferred or converted. Do you know what the transferred or converted means, Dell?
Yes, it moved.
So did it move due to the energy's transference?
No, energy's a concept.
Oh, then so it just happened by itself.
You just admitted it a minute ago and now you're contradicting yourself.
Sorry. No. When you say it just moved on itself, so energy did nothing there. You didn't use up energy. You get different types of energy, Dell.
And is energy something that moves? It always
causes movement, Dell.
Right. So how does energy cause movement without moving itself?
Work.
Which is motion.
Which is caused by work.
Which is
caused by the energy transference or
That's right. You know that you're backed in here and you're
I'm not backed. You're making my point to a T, Dell. Transference of energy. No. Look. When I make coffee, there's energy in this cup of coffee. When I drink it, it comes to me in the form of calories.
I think
I burn the calories.
I think we found the impasse here. And what it is that work is, or the energy is the potential or the act of work. Okay. It makes things work. All right. Movement is one of those things. So you're limiting it all to movement, but I don't think you're really understanding energy.
Listen, you don't understand energy because you don't grasp that energy is a word to quantify the amount of motion. So if I say, right, I'm 12 stone, right, so I need more energy to move 20 stone, which means I need to apply more grip, more friction, more movement, right? Energy is just a descriptive of the motion. So again, I'm going to ask you just said it there, there's potential to cause work, right? So what happens before work? What does energy do before work happens?
Where's the movement when I put the battery in my transistor radio and turn it on? Now I'm sitting there and I'm getting this radio signal. Where's that movement? There's no mechanical movement whatsoever there. It's just merely completed a circuit and picking up some other waves out of the atmosphere.
There's a tower using motion to send out pulses of intermittent motion disturbances in order for you to receive that into your radio.
No, that's something else. I'm talking about the thing that's receiving it. Where's the motion?
What do you mean, where's the motion?
Well, I put batteries in it, completed a circuit, and now I'm picking up radio waves.
So
picking up radio waves is a byproduct of this thing having energy. So where's the movement in there?
Well, so this energy that he claims in the battery would have to be moving in order
to get going.
What?
Where's it going? Does it just cycle around and stay there, or where's it go?
It's not me that has to answer to these things. It's you that has to answer to it. You're the one that keeps making the claim, mate.
Okay, so Dell.
So listen, you know, I'm trying to pin these down to get a proper comprehension for everybody to see this clear as day here. You're going round in circles because you don't want to admit that the word energy is a word to describe motion, right? And you've said it over and over and over again, and we can't even get past that because you will not concede because your ego's not allowing you to, and you're just going to keep looking more and more ridiculous. So the word energy is a word to try and quantify the amount of motion that's going to happen in any given scenario. So
Okay.
if I say, well, I had to apply so much energy to pull back this thing, all I had to say was how much pressure did I have to apply, how much motion had to be there in order for me to extend it. Right?
Great.
That's the word energy is a quantification of what's about to happen.
Great. So tell us, Dell, according to potential energy, where is the movement?
Listen, Flatzoid, what is potential energy? You don't ask me about your claims.
I'm telling you claiming energy is movement. Show me where the movement is in potential energy, please.
Potential energy is a concept, Flatzoid. It's not a thing.
So
Then how
it's
can
not
it be
movement
quantified?
then.
Potential, I've been explaining to you, potential energy and energy are concepts, they're words, they're not physical things.
So in other words, your claim the whole time that energy is movement is false, because potential energy is not movement. It's the potential to move.
Listen clearly, energy and potential energy are conceptual
Same thing.
words. They're not physical things.
Potential energy is energy. It's the potential to do work. So it's literally dormant energy.
No, it's not.
Is there movement in potential energy, Dell?
Flatzoid, again, potential.
It's a yes or no question. Is there movement in potential energy, Dell?
And there's no movement in any concept, Flatzoid. Or concept.
So there's not movement in potential energy, which literally shows you to be the fool again. You don't know what you're talking about. Well done.
Flatzoid, you don't comprehend the potential.
No,
energy.
you don't comprehend. Stop projecting your ignorance onto us. We literally been schooling you the whole evening just what energy is. You haven't even got to understand what statement was, why it's not accelerating Earth, why we literally see this fall due to relative density disequilibrium. It's not an accelerating Earth. It is simply due to the displacement of the object to the medium.
We can get to that discussion once you're.
This is the discussion the whole time.
No, it's not.
This is why we got onto potential energy. You claiming moving causes moving, which is on screen showing you to be bullshit. Your whole argument on screen based on potential energy is nothing.
Show me potential energy, Flatzoid.
Okay, there we go. This potential energy.
That's you holding a phone.
Is it moving?
That's you holding a phone.
That's potential energy. Is it moving?
Show me this potential energy. Where is it?
It's in the phone.
Where?
In the phone.
Whereabouts?
Potential to move.
Take it out the phone and show me it.
Easy. If I let it go, it's going to
No.
move.
You just claimed.
I just turned potential energy, aka transferred potential energy, into kinetic energy, Dell.
You just claimed
101, mate.
You just claimed the phone has something in it called energy. Now I want you to take the energy out of it and show me.
Potential to move. Because I picked it up, I'm transferred energy to it. It is now out of its equilibrium. When I let it go, it releases that potential energy and it creates kinetic energy. It transfers that kinetic energy until it finds its next relative equilibrium spot. Why did it happen? An unbalanced force, because the medium is not able to support the phone. If I had to stick this phone in mercury, it would not fall, it would float. Why? Because it's medium based. Everything in reality is literally based on unbalanced forces and the ratio between the object and the medium.
So if we can just go back, if I've got this cup and I've got tea in this cup and I've got another cup, and then I transfer the tea from this cup to this cup, we know that there's a physicality of a transfer of a substance, physical stuff, to that. The Flatzoid has just claimed he picked the phone up and gave it potential energy, which means he's transferred something to something else. But in this situation, I can take the tea and say, there's the tea, that's the stuff I transferred. Now Flatzoid has to extract this energy that he claims he's transferred into this phone and demonstrate it for me. Go, Flatzoid.
Okay. First of all, when you took that tea, it's got heat. It's busy dissipating that heat now. You're already using the heat. It's transferring into the surrounding. When you pour into the next cup, you can still feel the cup is hot. It's left energy behind. That cup is going to cool down now.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
You've transferred it to a new cup. You're literally making my point from energy transference with your demonstration now, Dell.
Right, but in my demonstration, I can isolate the T, the stuff I'm transferring. What I'm asking you to now do, Flatzoid, is take the T, the energy that you claim you're transferring from one thing to another, and isolate it and show me it.
I just did. I got my cup of coffee in my hand. I've isolated to potential. It's got the potential to fall.
No, Flatzoid. You're claiming you've transferred a thing, energy, from you to the cup. So isolate the stuff that you've transferred.
I just did. It's isolated in one static position.
No.
Until I let it go, it has the position. It has the potential to use that energy.
That's right. When you picked the phone up, you said, I've picked it up and gave it potential energy. There's now potential energy in the phone. So like the T scenario, when I transfer T from one cup to another, the stuff I transferred, I can see it, I can isolate it and say, there, it's there. So where's the energy that you're saying you're transferring?
It's potential. It is not there. It's potential to happen. So that means it's stored in the object. When I let it go, it will use up that energy. It will turn into kinetic energy. Do you understand? Potential energy is not the use, it's the potential to use. Kinetic energy is the use of that energy.
That's right.
So when you threw the cup into the other cup, you were literally making my point by moving the energy and transferring it to another cup. Still leaving behind other energy, heat energy. Transfer.
Yes, in the cup scenario, there's a transference of physical matter from one thing to another, which I can isolate and demonstrate that there was a different physical substance.
We just did.
This liquid stuff in here is a physical thing. Now, you're claiming that when you picked your phone up, just like the transfer, because we're talking about physics, son, right? So I want you to isolate the thing that's transferring from you to the phone. Where is it?
The displacement between the object and the medium is why it has potential. There's nothing to support it. At the moment, my hand is supported. This is the isolation, my hand. I'm holding it in its potential. If I lift it up, it's got a greater potential because it's further away from its equilibrium point.
And see when you're using the word potential means that when you remove your hand, there's going to be a change. There's going to be an acceleration that happens, right?
Kinetic energy. Yeah.
Well, listen, no, just don't jump ahead right now. When you're using that word, that's because you know that when you remove the support, there's going to be an acceleration, a change. Okay? Now, do you comprehend then that that's a conceptual part to explain?
No, that's physically demonstrated. It's an unbalanced force.
Now, listen.
You know what an unbalanced force is? Do you know what an unbalanced force is?
I've not finished addressing your point first and foremost. You're assuming what I'm saying. Okay? So that part where you say it's got potential now for some change to happen, right, is a factor of you holding that. When you remove the support, a change is going to happen. So what I'm saying to you is what you're saying is when you pick the phone up, you're transferring something from you to the phone. Isolate that thing you're transferring.
I do. I'm isolating it now as I'm holding it up.
That's right. I don't just say there's the stuff I transferred the cup. No, the stuff that I transferred from one to the other is the stuff that's to be isolated. Where's the stuff?
The heat is still dissipating in that cup that you let go, and it's dissipating in the new cup, Dell. Literally, you don't understand what potential energy is. You don't understand what kinetic energy is. You don't understand what unbalanced force is. Do you know why a bowling ball will roll away if you put it on an uneven surface, Dell?
That's right.
Do you know why a bowling ball will roll away if you put it on an uneven surface?
That's right. I'm not going any further in the discussion until you.
It's just, do you know why? I'm asking you simple. Do you know why?
I'm not answering your question until we get this.
It's an unbalanced force.
Michael, is there anybody else here with some sanity that comprehends what's going on here?
You're the one that doesn't understand. Everybody is looking at Dell and saying, Dell, what's going on? You don't know the simplest thing of physics. The simplest foundations of physics, you don't understand it. You are trying to project it onto us, but you don't understand it. I'm trying to make it as simple as I possibly can to you.
I comprehend it in very great detail, son. Right? Listen to me. So we started off with the use of words of force and energy, and I've just tried to isolate this energy stuff, and I've gave you the example. You're making the claim, right? This is what you don't comprehend. I'm trying to explain to you, and I'm trying to help you guys, right? The word energy, potential energy, and energy are not things, because as I say, if I want to transfer, listen, this is the difference between conceptual stuff and real physics. If I want to transfer something from this cup to this cup, I'm transferring physical stuff, actual physics, not conceptual stuff, none of them, no imaginary stuff, physical stuff from one thing to another, and I can isolate the stuff that's in there. Now, when you say you're picking the phone up and transferring energy into the phone, you're making a claim of one thing being transferred to another thing. And I am asking you to now isolate, like I can do in this scenario of taking the tea from there and saying, that's the stuff I'm transferring. There's the isolated stuff, the tea. So where is the energy? Isolate the energy and remove it from the phone and show us it.
I've picked it up. I've isolated it now.
Wow.
When I let it go, you know what is the observation?
Wow.
You know what's my proof of isolation of the energy? When I let it go, it's going to move. There, I've just literally demonstrated. I've isolated, then released that energy. Potential energy to kinetic energy. You learn this in literally grade 1 physics.
This is too difficult, man, honestly.
Yeah, it is too difficult for you.
No,
I don't know how much more plain I can make it for you. The only difference is where we don't agree with the globe, they claim gravity gives it that potential. We don't. We claim it's the displacement of the medium and the object. You have the straw man of saying, oh, you need an acceleration. Why don't you see these objects, a density tower mixing when it falls? Simple. You see this kinetic energy of the phone. If I had everything and it's accelerating at the same rate, it's got a zero net force. That means it's all accelerating in the same vector at the same rate. Therefore, there is no force applied on one another because they're all going at the same rate and they cannot displace one another.
See unless we can get, a clarity and an agreement. So in first principles, Flatzoid, we can't move forward into the discussion. So, it's so difficult because you just go round and round in circles. I've gave you a perfect example. Unless you can comprehend the use of the language that you're using, it's pointless, son, right? Again, I'm going to try and help you. I'm going to go through it one more time, right? Can you isolate potential energy or energy as its own thing, separate from the phone or you? Listen,
No.
Flatzoid.
This is isolation. It's not moving. That's isolation, Dell. This object is physically isolated with potential energy. How do I know it's physically isolated? Because it's static. How do I know it actually has energy? When I let it go, it moves. Kinetic energy. I just demonstrated. I isolated it when it was static, and I let that energy release when I let it go.
Right. So now when I pick my cup up and I pour this substance into another substance, I'm transferring one thing to another. Now, what I'm saying is I can isolate the stuff that I'm transferring. This is the claim of Flatzoid. He's claiming he's transferring stuff from one thing to another, okay? So when I pick the cup up and I transfer tea to another cup, the transference is the tea, the substance there, and I can isolate it separate from the cup, separate from the other cup, separate from me. It's its own thing in the world objectively. So Flatzoid, this potential energy and energy, can you separate it from you and the phone that you've picked up?
Yes.
Show me it.
Again, I explained it many times to you now. You got your two
No,
cups?
don't explain it. Show me it.
I am showing it to you. You got your cup. It has heat energy due to the tea inside there, okay?
Oh, Jesus.
As it's sitting here, this heat energy is dissipating into the surrounding air. Even me holding it, that's why your hand gets hot while you're holding the cup, because that heat energy is transferring to your hand and the surroundings.
I think he's looking for a substance.
Yeah, when you take that cup and you pour it into another cup, it still has heat energy being transferred. You've thrown the physical tea out to the other cup, but that heat is still dissipating in that cup.
Energy is a substance of some kind?
Like,
you think energy is has a liquid or a solid? There's some material that you could grab?
I mean,
I've just made the last year trying to make the point that no, energy and these things don't have substance because they're concepts to describe something.
okay.
Right?
Which is observable and demonstratable. Literally just demonstrated. So that
Twilight zone here, what's happening?
that I can quantify the temperature difference from the transference of the cup, okay? Literally, you can demonstrate it, you can observe it. Just because that it is a function of explanation doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I can demonstrate it. You demonstrated it. We want you to demonstrate how you can claim Earth has to be rising. That's your claim.
Well, we can get to that once we get past this. But so are we clear?
You're the one not getting past it. You're not understanding what's going on, mate.
No, I think Sovereign's just twigged. Maybe, hopefully, as I've been trying to explain for the last hour. And
I need a translator. Michael, what did he just say?
He says you clicked. You got it. You're getting it apparently now.
Are you just going to insult me now?
No, I mean, no, I didn't. I didn't understand what you said, man. It's hard for me. I'm not trying to insult you or anything, but you really have a thick accent.
Well, you're just thick.
No, I'm not.
He said he didn't understand you, and now you're saying he's thick.
Well, he's understood me fine for the last. He's understood me
It's already been explained to you. Energy is the potential to do work. It can be quantified as potential, kinetic. Okay, it's just the ability to do work. Okay, and we call it energy. Whether it's stored energy, whether we're using it, whether we're doing it.
Yes,
I mean, the same as
Sovereign. That energy and potential energy are mathematical concepts for language. Right?
Well, they're actual demonstrable, though. I mean,
what's demonstrable? What's demonstrable?
Well, there's potential energy. This thing by its position, right? By its what are the conditions? I just had it up here. So it's its position relative to other objects. It's called potential because it has the potential to be converted into other forms of energy, such as kinetic energy. Potential energy is defined in equations by letter U or something by PE. But the bottom line is it is the ability to do work, the expenditure of work. I don't know how else to.
Yes, you're grasping it now. What you're realizing here is that these words that you're using, and you said the equation there, right? Because it's a mathematical concept to describe motion.
No, they said it's expressed in equations with using these different variables.
Yes, because it's not a real thing.
Potential or K.
Yes.
But that's just so that when we put it on paper, we're trying to communicate it to one another, right?
Yes, because it's a language to try and describe the change, the motion that's happening, and what's causing that, right? That's what it is. That's all it is.
No, not necessarily, because
right. I'm going to ask you again then, Sovereign.
But like with nuclear energy, or like what we said with the battery, where's the actual movement in that?
Does a change have to happen?
When there's water, we make steam, which causes movement. The energy, that potential of that energy, causes work. Okay, and so where's the actual, like when in the potential energy, like I said, there's not actually any movement. Like right now, this Bic lighter has potential energy in it, right? There's no movement involved at all. None. The only movement that's involved is when I apply flame to it and it continues to go. Now the movement, I guess, is the pressure causing the gas to come out.
The movement.
Caused by the energy.
Because again, when the light is sitting there, you're saying words like it's got potential energy, right?
It does.
That's the language of you trying to describe what will happen when you apply motion to it.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying to you. I've been saying it for the last 20 minutes.
Well, what motion am I applying once it's sitting static? Yeah, dude. Let's say something's just sitting on a rock, and the rock falls from underneath it, and that object that was on top of the rock fell off. I didn't touch it. Nothing happened. The rock fell out from underneath it.
The rock moved in order for it to fall.
Because it had potential energy.
Oh, but right, again, Flatzoid, go to the rock and extract its potential energy.
It's not. You're trying to give it physical substance. It's a unit quantification to explain what we observe in reality. That's all it is.
I've been telling you that for the last 2.5.
No, you've been saying it's a physical substance. You're saying
Rewind.
its movement causes energy. It doesn't.
Rewind.
Just like we explained to you, eating that toast, you're eating calories, you're burning those calories. That's transference of energy. But now we need to get to the point is, where can you tell us this thing? They said it's the light that dropped. You say it's not physically dropping, even though we can measure it dropping, observe it dropping, and you say it's not dropping. That's your claim to show us it isn't dropping.
So do we have clarity now then that, you know, these words that you're using are just words to describe motion? Which
is observed.
Yes, because you can use the language all you like, potential energy. There's these things don't exist as things of themselves. They're not substances, correct?
It's an actual thing. It's a description of what happens. It's a name given to what happens.
And if you're explaining something that happens, you're observing a change, Flatzoid, is that correct?
The change coming from
energy has to be a thing, though, doesn't it? Because if we don't eat and take in energy, we can't move.
But Michael, you're talking about chemistry there. You're talking about, you know, things reacting to each other, which is constant motion. You know, there has to be a motion of one thing to the other in order for an effect.
Well, I won't arguing whether it's emotion or not, but what I'm saying is that energy is a thing. You know, it's not.
No, energy's
you literally have to eat to survive. That's energy. If you don't eat it, you don't survive.
Right.
Well, imagine this, Dell, right? I've got two phones and I want to Bluetooth a photograph from one phone to other. Mm-hmm. Can I capture that information that's in between them two phones and see it as a tangible thing? No, I can't, but I can get one picture from another. So there's got to be data transferring, whether I can see it or not. And same with energy, you know.
But Michael, you're describing it. Something's moving that's causing a motion and causing a disturbance, and then that picks the thing up. It's a continual process of something moving and causing a change, right? You're explaining it. Right, but you keep coming back to there has to be energy, and I've went over and over and over it. Energy is a mathematical word to try and quantify the motion or the change, which is just motion that we observe. That's what it means. It's not a thing in itself. So you can't make a claim that when I pick an object up, I give it energy, because you're making a claim of something new property that you're giving matter. That's not what's happening. That's a concept. You're buying into mainstream concepts of energy. It's words to quantify motion. Again, F equals ma. They're quantifying motion and giving it a word, force. They're telling you that force is simply a word to describe matter and motion. How much motion, how much matter is there and how much motion is there? And then we'll derive this and call force. And then we break it up into different forms of force, which is just different forms of motion.
And that's exactly why we say the globe is nonsensical, because they don't have a force to cause that acceleration. So therefore, gravity debunked.
Exactly. Well, I know that stuff, right? So
then why are you fighting us of it? Why are you fighting us as if we take gravity?
Flatzoid, you guys have went on the defensive with me from day dot. No, listen to anything I've said. I've articulated it over and over again. Listen, let me finish, right? Mathematics and physics are two different things, right? Mathematics is a language we use to try and describe the world, okay? Now, in order for us to describe anything in the world, we have to observe change, which is something moved, something happened, which is motion, because no change happens without motion happening. That's just a fact, right? So all these words that we have, energy, potential energy, force, blah, 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 they're all words to try and ascribe to what we observe changing, motion. Okay, are we clear?
Still, you require the force to cause that motion.
Flatzoid, force is a word to describe motion.
No.
Yes, F equals
okay.
ma.
Go push the force on a wall. Show me the motion of that wall, please.
Flazoid, I can't push in the wall until I motion towards the wall. Then the wall has enough inertia to resist the motion, but I still have to move motion towards it.
So you need a certain amount of force then, Dell?
So how can I isolate the force then?
So you need a certain amount of force then, Dell?
Flazoid, tell me how to isolate
No, just answer me. So you need a certain amount of force.
Yes, I need more motion.
So mathematically then?
No, Flazoid.
Derived how much force you require.
We were almost clear.
Physics, mate. Unfortunately, maths is part of physics, Dell.
Now you've doubled down again, Flazoid. Flazoid, you're doubling down and going backwards again, and we had progress there.
I am making my point from the start till now.
Flazoid,
you are running from what's actually being said.
Flazoid, force is a word to describe change, motion. Okay? Now, I'm going to ask you, Flazoid, isolate force on its own and show me it.
Force is just resistance to inertia.
Pardon?
If I apply a force, it's just resistance to inertia. That's it. It's how much force you apply gives it movement. Yes. In other words, I applied a force to make it move.
Yes.
Not it move because I have a force. The force has to do something to make it move. Hence why we've been talking about energy all this time. Without the energy of the force, there's no movement.
Flazoid, you're saying it. You have to move in order to make something else move. Now I'm asking you, I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to keep asking you. You're claiming force is its own thing. So separate it from motion and show me it.
What do you mean? Separate? Like I said, I have my phone on a scale. It's reading a force. There's no movement.
Well, there's got to be a movement of one towards the other in order
Why is there movement? Show me where a movement is now. Show me.
Flazoid, in order for two things to be pressed together, there has to be a motion of one towards the other.
Nope. It's simply the pressure. It's
wow. What's pressure? Pressure's something pushing on something else.
Doesn't need movement.
So how can something be pushing on something else without motion, Flazoid?
Have you heard of friction before?
How do you get friction without motion?
Friction is just simply sitting together. It's literally friction static.
That's right.
My phone is not moving on the scale. Now, you are claiming I need motion to say it's causing a force. No. This phone, if we say this is a scale, is causing that force on there because of its displacement. It has displaced the medium around it. It cannot support. The only thing that can support it now is the scale. So therefore, it's forcing itself onto the scale.
So it's pushing itself onto the scale. It's moving towards the scale.
Because there's an unbalanced force.
But it's moving
in a state of disequilibrium.
Right, yeah. So I'm trying to discuss with Flazoid. I don't need your interjections, mate.
That's exactly he was saying. My point.
What, you're gonna fucking get him.
Listen.
How about that?
Flazoid.
Give a fuck what you need.
The phone. You've already insulted me, son. So you can say what you like.
I didn't insult you. How did I insult you?
You listened to me for an hour and 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden you couldn't understand me.
No, it's not it at all. It's some things that you say, I have to stop my brain and go, what the fuck was that? You have a thick accent. If that makes you butthurt, I don't give a shit, man.
Okay.
You know, fuck off.
People can't understand me, Dell, so don't take that as it is.
I'm no Michael, but anyway.
But anyway, can we move on to the actual argument?
No. But
how can you claim
because it's
if I drop something it's not dropping, it's only you rising towards it?
Because it's usually vital in order for us to have that discussion that we clarify these points first and foremost. Right?
It's been clarified over and over. You're not getting it, so we have to move on to your argument. Why do you argue things are not falling?
It's not been clarified. Do you concede now, Flazoid, that the phone, you in your claim, the phone is the thing that's moving towards the scale? That's your claim.
It's displaced, yeah.
So it's actually moving towards the scale.
It's at its equilibrium point, relative equilibrium point.
Is the phone pushing on the scale?
It has to. It has what we would call a weight. It's got pressure because nothing around it can support it. The only thing supporting it now is the scale.
So what's causing the phone to push onto the scale?
an unbalanced force.
What's the unbalanced force?
It's ratio between it and the medium around it. The medium around it cannot support it, so it's sitting on the scale, which is now supporting it, means it's got pressure on that.
So force isn't a thing then. It's you're just saying force is something to do with the medium around the thing.
You require a force to give pressure.
Yes, you need motion for pressure.
And it measures a weight on a scale because the pressure attributed by the phone giving a force on the scale.
So the phone's now giving something to the scale.
An unbalanced force, it means it's unbalanced. It is literally forcing itself onto that where it's laying because it's supported by the scale.
So is it the scale that's pushing up on it or the phone that's pushing down on the scale?
The phone is supported by the scale.
Is the phone
pushing down
on the scale or is the scale pushing
down
up on the phone?
Just sitting on it.
Is the phone pushing down on the scale or is the scale pushing up on the phone?
Why would the scale be pushing up on the phone, Dell?
Simple question.
The scale's pushing down on the floor. The scale's pushing down on whatever it's on. Don't you understand how that works?
It's so difficult. I need to go for a piss and I'll be back in a minute.
Shots. I don't understand what's so hard to understand.
I'll be back
Everything
in a
we
minute.
observe, yeah, we'll wait for you. Everything we observe is just showing things seek equilibrium. So when my phone's on that scale, it can't be supported by the air around it anymore. So it is now supported by the scale. That scale is supported by the table. The table is supported by the floor because that's how it works. All those three things are supported by the ground. There's nothing pushing up towards it. It's simply staying static. There's no movement anywhere. Yet we see a force. Why? Because it's unbalanced. It's just simply displacing. That's all. The issue comes here when Dell claims, look, I drop a lighter. The lighter's not dropping. You rising towards the lighter. No matter how much times you observe it, you can measure it. You can show it. It is the lighter dropping. He's got the burden of proof. He's got to show us why he made that claim. We can use all of physics to show it's not that way.
That's just the equivalency principle kind of twisted around like a pretzel, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I said. The equivalence principle is globe-based, and that's exactly what he's pushing. That's why I said flat Earth society. He's saying the Earth is accelerating upwards based on the flat Earth society model, which is globe-based because he's pushing the equivalence principle. He's saying it's not the lighter falling, it's the ground rising up to meet the lighter. And it's based on, look, if I accelerate, therefore we have density displacement. You've given a force to it, of course it's going to give density displacement.
It's all right making them claims, but there's a lot of questions. It's like, what's causing it to be moving?
Mm-hmm.
What speed is it moving? There's all different questions, but I don't think we're going to get around to it.
Well, we can continue the discussion at a later day, but as again, you know, any discussions that I ever go on that are logical and that are progressive and productive, you know, I've got people around me that I have these conversations with. See if we kind of get past certain first factors of that and have a total agreement. It's really useless to continue because we're just going to keep talking past each other. And we always have to have grounds so that we can come back and say, listen, these are the grounds that we agreed upon before we progress, so that if there's any miscomprehensions, we can always come back to the first block and then keep building as we move forward. So right now, we still can't get past the fact that there's a mathematical quantification of the real world, and that is that we observe change, which is motion. Something moves, something changes. We observe that. Then we quantify that change with language, mathematics, and we implement words like force, energy, potential energy, yada, yada, yada. There's a separation, though, because the real world's practical, physical, real stuff, and mathematics is conceptual, it's language-based. So when people say things like force, energy, blah, 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 it has to be clarified about what we're actually talking about. You know, force and energy are just conceptual words to denote and describe a change, motion happening, because that's the root of all science, is we observe change and then we seek to try and understand what happened in that situation. That's the basis of all science. You have to observe change in order for you to progress. So are we clear that there's the mathematical descriptions of what we observe, that being motion, force, and energy? And then there's the real world stuff where all there is motion. Do we understand that?
I disagree, because that is real world. We give demonstration.
Yes, that's right.
Demonstration.
Yes, the
So
demonstrations that you've given are all motion. They're all physical. You can't have something affecting something else without that thing moving in the first place.
The movement is caused by the transference of that energy, just like we explained.
Right, okay,
It's
so
demonstrated.
Now you're interlacing physics.
Do you know why? No, but you see why you don't want it to be that way, Dal, is because you know your upward rising Earth says there's no force.
Why are you strong?
That's why. That's why you cannot have it as a real thing, because if you have to concede it's a real thing, you can't claim your upward rising Earth. That's why.
It's up to you. You're straw manning me and jump to something.
It's not a straw man. Don't you claim the Earth is rising, Dal?
I've articulated it very, very, very clearly that the mathematical use of language, energy, force, motion are words. They're not real things. The real things are real. Okay, the Flatzoid just gave a real example and interlaced it with interjecting the word energy in there. And why I keep saying to him is extract the energy from the real world stuff and show me it then. You cannot achieve it because it's not real. It's a concept.
It's the real thing, Dal. The concept just explains what we observe. The concept explains and demonstrates what we observe. It gives language to what we're observing. It doesn't make it not real. It doesn't make the concept not real.
I'm going to tell that to my electric company. I'm going to say it's just a concept. It's not real. I'm not paying you. See what happens.
But, you know, you're no funny at all, mate.
That was funny. Come on, man.
Because it's really dumb. Because because an energy company uses the word energy, this guy thinks that energy's a thing.
Well, what is that coming into my house?
How do you generate electricity?
Where's that energy coming into my house then?
How do you generate electricity?
With energy.
And what's that?
Transference of the energy, Dal.
So you generate electricity with a concept known as energy. You don't generate electricity by using motion, no.
Do you think if we didn't have a concept of energy, we would know how to transfer that energy?
No, you're utilizing real things and using motion, and you're quantifying it with words like energy. So I'm going to ask you again: how do we get energy? How do we get electricity?
Of the energy.
How do we get electricity?
You have to. It has to be transferred, Dell. It cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred.
So where are you transferring electricity from?
Let's take a solar panel, for instance. It's
transforming
the energy from the sun.
Stop. There's two conversations happening here. It's no good. Where are you transferring electricity from? What is electricity? How do you get it to your house without any motion? How do we get electricity? How do we get other stuff?
The movement is from the energy, Dal. No energy, no movement. It's still you're trying to run away from your claim that the Earth is rising. We want to know why you're claiming this, okay? We understand you don't want to accept potential energy and all these energies. That's fine. It's your prerogative. We're not saying you have to. But can you explain to us why you can claim if I drop this, let's say it's a lighter, I drop it, it's not actually dropping, the ground is rising to meet it.
How do we get, what is this energy stuff? You're all laughing like, and you don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Did you see what I said, Dal?
Flatzoid, I've asked you for the last 2 hours to
We have answered you for the last 2 hours. Now I'm asking you, you are claiming this object is not falling. How can you claim this object is not falling where I can physically measure it had a force? It falls, it actually makes a force, and it's observable. And you're telling me it's not. You're telling me the Earth is rising towards it. So tell me how you come to that conclusion so we can actually get to your claim.
We can't have that discussion until we get past this, but
you're not accepting physics. We can't help you. It's not going to get anywhere. We do accept physics. You don't. So it doesn't help getting in. Get to your claim so we can understand why you claim this is not physically falling down. It's not physically moving. You claim that, so explain it to us how you get that.
We're talking physics, so physics is real world physical stuff, correct? Correct?
Sorry?
Physics is the study of real world physical stuff.
Yes. And in physics, we can literally see this thing physically falling to the ground, physically measure it falling, physically see a force attributed to it, and you claim there is no force attributed to it.
In physics, in the physical world, where is energy?
In the object itself, in the transference, energy is all around.
Right.
Look at it as a ether, if you want to. It's just
right.
everywhere.
That's
it's the building blocks of a force.
Right. You've just claimed it again, that the energy is in matter. So extract it from the matter and show me it.
How?
You're claiming it, not me.
Okay, I'll extract energy from matter. Can someone quickly show me this heat? I'm extracting the heat from this cup. Oh wait, my hand's hotter than the cup now. The cup is extracting the energy from my hand. Heat, energy. There we go. I've just demonstrated transference of energy again.
You're just I'm going to hit the button on this thing, and that's going to heat this, and that's going to allow me to get a vapor out of it.
Yes, because that's how a machine works. Because every machine,
no moving parts. I was the only moving parts. No moving parts at all. Energy transferred right there.
You think a machine's all levers and screws? I mean, come on, son.
No, what I'm saying, what can energy be created?
What are you talking about?
Can energy be created?
Energy's a concept.
Can it be created?
It's a concept.
So you can't create energy.
Can you create unicorns?
I can transfer energy.
I can transfer.
I just did. I transferred the energy from this battery to a heating coil to the vapor material into my lungs. I just transferred energy all ways. I didn't create any.
No.
Yeah. But Dell, you saying you can transfer unicorns. You first had to show unicorns exist.
Show
we
me
do
energy.
know energy exists because we use it every day.
Show me it.
Okay, I'll show you heat energy. I light a fire, and if I stick my hand in that fire, I burn my hand.
What the fuck is going on, man? What the fuck is happening here? This is like the Twilight Zone.
Let's put it in another way. You take a hammer and you nail with a hammer, and you feel how hot it gets. Energy, Dal. That's what gets hot. Heat energy transference.
Just heat. There's no energy part.
Heat is energy. Literal heat is energy. No, that's what's called heat energy. Dal, come on, man. You better than this. Come on. I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Energy is a concept in mathematics. It's not.
It's literally observable and demonstratable.
That's right. You observe change. You don't observe energy. You don't isolate energy. You observe change. Then you quantify it in mathematical language and give it words like energy.
So you don't observe energy. Okay, let's say someone gets shot with an RPG-7 and they blow out of proportions. That was an energy.
I think I understand what he's getting at, though. It's kind of like magnetism. You can't really see it, but it's there.
No.
You can observe it. You can put metal filings and follow the fields. It's there. It's the same with energy. You are observing it. You're able to transfer it, see what's happening. Now, he's literally using this as an excuse not to move to his claim of his upward rising Earth, because he knows if he has to claim energy is a real thing, he has no argument.
See, for everybody that's watching this, I will 100% have the discussion of all of my claims, right? But that cannot happen, and there's reasons for why it can't happen until we get past this. So if there's anybody out there that's friends with these people that can speak to them and they'll listen to them, what I'm saying is factual and factually correct, 100%. That everything I've stated to them, they just don't grasp what they're talking about. You get this guy here talking about using mechanisms to press one thing, to have a reaction, to cause another reaction, to cause another reaction, to cause another reaction. Every part of machinery, every part of physics, every part of every aspect of our lives is like that. You have one thing that moves that causes a knock-on effect of the motion of another thing. The amount of motion that's there is quantified in a language known as mathematics, and they ascribe words like energy, force, and motion. All they're doing is quantifying the change that happened, the knock-on effect. if we can get past that so that we understand there is no transfer of stuff. When I pick stuff up, I'm not transferring something from me to that. That's ridiculous. That's gobbledygook mathematical gibberish, right? They don't comprehend that energy is a concept, not a thing, right?
Tell that to my car in the garage. It's got a combustion engine, please.
Don't even start with your car.
I'm sorry, this is ridiculous, Dal.
Can I just jump in on it? I'm gonna have to get off. So God bless everybody. Nice talking to you, Del.
Cheers, Michael, mate.
See you later.
But this is ridiculous. An engine literally uses energy.
Yourself, you have to look at there's a total transference in energy that takes place with you. Okay, this starts out from the sun, goes to the plants. Animals eat the plants, we eat the animals and the plants. We convert that through a process by digestion into caloric energy. We then use that energy and transfer it into the daily things that we do and movements and all of that. It's just a transference of energy. There's none being created. But you have to consume a certain amount of energy in order to expend a certain amount of energy. It's never going to, you can't, this is why that you can't have like a perpetual motion.
It's a revolving circle.
You see, because you have to, it's always just a transference. If you do not finance your body with energy, then your ability to do work will be markedly less. You just won't be able to, you'll become very weak.
Yeah. The weaker you get, the less you do, and the less you do, the more you just
so even so much as that thought requires energy. Yeah. You can feel when people start to starve, for one of the things that goes is their ability for cognitive thought.
Yeah. So weak they can't think.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're shitting on yourself and pissing everything else these days.
Exactly.
Again, everything you've just described is a mechanistic knock-on effect of a motion of one thing to another thing, right? Every single step of the way. That's exactly what I'm trying to explain to you. A machine, a car requires the motion of me to put the key in, turn the ignition, cause a knock-on effect of electricity, of motion, right? To cause a spark, which then ignites and expands the gas. Motion. No point through any of that. Transfer. See, as a mechanic, when a car comes into the garage, I don't have buckets of energy anywhere. Nothing.
You just transferred all that energy.
No,
that's how you got the car to move.
No, there is no energy anywhere. All there is a lever. That's what machines are. Levers.
Okay.
Learn. Levers. That's what a machine is. One lever moves another lever, moves another lever, moves another lever, moves another lever. That's what a machine is.
Okay, let's do it another way. If your car battery is flat, will your car start, Del?
Oh my God. Oh Jesus.
It start, Del?
What is that?
Wow, man.
A car battery is literal transference of energy.
I'm not sure Jesus can help you here.
This is ridiculous.
I know it's ridiculous because you're denying energy.
Flazoid, you're claiming energy. Show me it.
I just did.
No,
car
you
battery,
didn't.
no energy, car battery cannot start.
What's missing from the battery?
The energy.
So can I go to the B&Q or can I go to a local place and get some energy to put in it?
Yeah. It's called jumper cables.
What's the stuff called?
It's called jumper cables.
No.
Transference of energy from another battery.
If the battery's flat, if the battery's flat, right, it's depleted of something, right? What's it depleted of?
Energy.
So are you telling me that I can now go and get energy from somewhere?
Yeah. Jumper cables.
I've been a mechanic for a long time. Not once
Me too.
Anything that I've ever used does it say energy. Nothing.
I had it on screen, a battery and what it's related to thermodynamics and potential energy. I had it on screen for you, Dal.
That's right. Go and ask any mechanic. There is no thing known in mechanics energy. It's not a thing.
I build my own engines. I think by now I'd know a battery, if it has no energy, it won't turn. crack.
Well,
Nothing's going to
A
turn.
battery is a chemical reaction caused by acid and lead. It's nothing like what you're saying.
Where is the energy bit?
They charge it up to give a chemical reaction which transfers the energy to start the car.
So it's a knock-on effect. It's a motion of something that causes a motion of something that causes a motion of something.
A transfer of energy, a transfer of energy to a transfer of energy to a transfer of energy.
It's transforming and transferring continuously. That's first law of thermodynamics.
No, look, again, you guys are wrapped up in the mathematical conceptual aspects of these things, okay? So seeing an engine, right, it's a physical lever that has to physically move to create a knock-on effect, and all these levers all influence each other by direct contact, right?
Transference of energy, yeah.
Flatzoid, I'm going to ask you again. The two cups that I have, and I've got a substance in one and I've not got a substance in the other. Now I transfer the substance from this one to this one. Now I can isolate the stuff that I transferred, right? Where's your stuff that you're transferring?
Okay, let's do it another way. If you're sick and you have no energy to get out of bed,
Jesus,
okay,
knock it off.
Will you? And you can't walk to the car to turn the keys and start the car, okay? Did you use energy to actually get up, forced yourself out of bed, crawled to the car, used energy to turn the key, and hoped that the energy from the battery was able to would start the car? Do you understand? It's literally a knock-on effect of energy transference and transforming. That's literally what happens. Everything you do is based on energy and work. You're busy sitting here in your chair, you're burning calories. Those calories you're burning came in a form from energy from the food you ate. Yeah. The food you ate's energy came from photosynthesis when, for instance, the tomato grew in the ground from the sun. Everything has energy and it transfers and transforms and gets used everywhere over and over and over, and it just depletes everywhere. That's how it works, Dell. It's just energy transfers and transforms. If you don't have the energy, you don't have the force. The force and energy they literally link together. They're almost the same thing.
Yes, they are.
You can't have one without the other.
They are the same thing, correct? But the thing is the words you're using are just words.
No, it's demonstratable. I just explained to you, every single thing is demonstratable.
The demonstratable parts is that there's a motion continually.
Pissed off at you anyway.
Again, the motion won't be there if there was no energy and force to give that motion.
Show me energy.
I just explained to you in the most simplest way I can. You ate food to give you energy to move. No food, no energy, no movement.
No. You're avoiding it continually. You believe that there's a transfer of stuff from one thing to another. So what's transferring from one to that?
Okay, do you work on a calorie deficit, Dell? You like me, we work out. Do you have a calorie deficit?
Am I transferring calories to the lighter right now?
Do you work on a calorie deficit?
Am I transferring calories to the lighter?
By picking up, you've transferred potential energy because you poured it out of its relative equilibrium. So once you let go, it has to transfer that potential energy to kinetic energy, therefore it drops.
So again, Flatzoid's talking about a transference of stuff from one thing to another thing. Yes. Okay? So when just like I gave you the scenario of the two cups again, Flatzoid, with the tea in it, I transferred the tea, the substance, from there to there. The thing that was transferred was a thing that can be isolated and shown to you. Now, when you say I give this potential energy, you are claiming I am transferring something to this. So what you may have to do is isolate the thing that is going from me to the lighter. Can you do that?
By holding it where it was.
No.
Can you just quickly hold it back there? Can you hold it up there, Dell?
No.
Can you hold it for everybody up there again? No, and then let it go. Then let it go and tell us where the lighter moved to, please.
That's right. We're not even at that point yet. Listen.
We are, because you are literally making my point. You picked it up. You put potential energy. You let it go. It had energy. It moved. Did it move or not when you let it go, Dell?
Why are you
Did that
laughing?
light
What's so
Because
funny?
it's hilarious.
Did the
Flat
lighter
out.
move, Dal? Did the lighter move when you let it go?
See, in the real world in physics, when we transfer things, we
It is
actually
real
do.
world physics I'm talking about.
In physical world, when we say transfer, we're moving one thing from a position to another position. Okay, that's what transfer means, right? So there has to be if we're talking about physics, there has to be stuff, right? So in the case of the cup with the tea in it, and I transfer the tea, which is the stuff, we can isolate the stuff that's being transferred. You're claiming that I'm transferring stuff from me to that. So just from this point, I must be able to isolate the stuff that's transferring from me to the lighter. If it's physical, show me the physical stuff that's transferring from me to the lighter. Isolate it.
Is the lighter a physical thing being picked up? It's moving position, Dell. When you let it go, does it again change position, Dell? Without you doing it, you've let it go.
See if I've got the two cups sitting on the table, okay, and one's empty.
Is the lighter physically moving, Dell?
That's right. You have to.
You just said it changes location physically. So the lighter physically changed the location. Then you let it go, and it physically fell. You've made my point again.
Majority of people comprehend exactly what's going on here, Flatzoid, right? Just let me explain it to you again. Don't jump to dropping stuff, right? Because that's not what we're talking about. You're claiming there's a transference of stuff from one thing to another. Okay, that's what your claim is. Right, so what I'm saying is if I get two cups on the table, one's empty, one's not, it's got liquid in it. Now, if I apply motion and pick that cup up and empty that stuff into the other one, I've transferred a substance from one thing to the other thing. So when I move and I touch this lighter, you're claiming there's a transference of stuff from me to the lighter. So just like the scenario of the two cups, the isolated part is the liquid in the cup. Now, isolate the stuff that's going from me to the lighter, please.
Okay. This is the lighter, just like you have the liquid. I'm changing the physical lighter to its position, and I'm going to let go of the physical lighter to a new position.
That's right. The thing that you isolate in that situation is the thing you put in the cup, because that's the thing you're moving.
What happens when you let that cup that you've transferred that liquid into, what happens when you let that cup go? Oh, the liquid, everything falls.
That's right.
Tea is not energy. Tea is a substance.
The
energy inside the tea is what we are talking about. Now, you should get over this idiocy and get to your rising earth, because it's getting late, man. What is your claim about the rising earth? Because it literally goes against all physics we spoke about tonight. Every bit of it.
That's right. Are you going to isolate this transferring stuff that you keep
I just did. The tea you transferred was not energy. The tea you transferred was physical tea.
Yes. So
when you let that tea go, it will.
So energy's not physical stuff then?
Energy describes it.
Describes what?
It describes the work.
The motion.
You get different types of energy.
Different
just
types
like
of
we explained. Potential, kinetic, heat, thermal.
Can I ask what difference it makes?
It's hugely relevant and hugely important, because, you know, when people use words like force, and Flatzoid makes jokes, motion causes motion, he doesn't comprehend that that's the facts. Because in order for something to move, something else has to move. And it's a never-ending cycle of one thing moving to another thing. That's the only way motion actually happens. You don't have motion through concepts of energy or any of this stuff. Flatzoid continues to claim that there's a transfer of stuff from one thing to another thing. There's not. There's no such thing as energy. It's a concept to describe motion.
I think you are.
That's hermetic principle.
I think he's not understanding. Remember, Dell, when I said you changed the location of this physical object, I physically had to use energy, burn energy to change the location of this object. I've now put it in a place that if I let it go, why would you expect it to stay there? It won't. It has to go somewhere because I put it out of its equilibrium. I physically used energy to stick it there where it is. I've changed its location. So what happens is that potential energy it has now, its description of it is now in a place of disequilibrium, has to do work. When I let it go, it does work. It's called kinetic energy.
It's I think where Dell's at is like with the Hermetic principles, where it says that everything is continuously in motion. Everything is causation and reaction continuously.
That's reality. That's exactly what reality is. All we observe is motion.
Don't agree.
That's chaos theory. It's not reality.
Don't agree with that, Dell. Like I said, if I have something on a table, I'm sitting here. I'm stationary. My phone on the table here is stationary. My table on the ground is stationary. It's not moving. Okay? You claiming it is moving. Yeah, are you not?
No, that's right. I'm claiming that in order to have something move, you need something else moving to cause the motion.
Is my table moving? Am I moving at this moment?
Move the table.
I can't. It's bolted to the ground.
Right, if it's not bolted to the ground, you can move it by using motion.
The point is my table moving now, Dell? Am I moving?
That's right. We're not even getting to that.
It's a simple yes or no question. Am I moving? Is my table moving, Dell?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Prove it's moving, please.
Mine's not.
Yeah, don't laugh about it. Show. You made a claim. It's moving. So show us it's moving, please.
Laughing hope.
Right. So hopefully we can get past this part and then we can get to the next parts. Because, again, we've been running, and it's really, really fucking embarrassing for you guys, right? Really
you projecting onto us. You claiming this table's moving. I asked you prove it. You're not telling me. Instead you're saying we are uneducated.
I will get to that, but the whole point so far has been, the use of words force, energy, yada, yada, yada. What I've been trying to explain to these guys over and over and over again is the
still on here. How are you explaining how the table's moving?
That's right. You can jump all you like, son. You continually make a claim.
You might be trying to explain it that way, but you're not making a lot of sense, bro.
No, he's not explaining. He's running away from his claim. Show us how the table is moving, please.
Listen, you're running away from your claim, Flatzard, because you keep claiming.
My claim is the table stationary. I can measure it stationary. I can observe it stationary. You claiming it is moving. Prove it's moving, Dell. Go ahead.
Flatzard, I'll get to that, and when we move.
Where is it going, Dell? If you believe that the Earth is moving upwards, where is it going?
As the surfaces pressed together, as the table pressed on another surface.
Yeah, and what's that got to do with movement?
Well, what's moving? Why are the two things pressed together? Which one is moving towards the other one?
None of them.
So the table's not touching the ground right now.
No one says not touching. It's just not moving. It's static. Do you know what static means?
Yes, but in order for two surfaces to be pressed together, one has to be pressing on the other.
Yeah, the table has what we call weight because it displaces the air around it and the air can't support it. So it's sitting on the ground.
What's weight?
Weight is just simply based by the matter because it has displacement.
No.
Yes.
Weight is one of two things. It's either the action that something makes on a spring, and then the spring is measured, the distance between the two of them, between the time when you started and the time you didn't, and then there's an adjustment made to balance it to see that it matches. But generally, when you measure something like weight, you're balancing something on an equilibrium, right? You're balancing it on a pin or on some kind of a scissor lift or whatever you want to call that. You know what I'm saying? And you're putting something that you know the actual weight of, or you have the actual density of, and you're comparing it to something else. There is no energy transference or anything. I think you might have a point about that. But what does that have to do with the shape of the Earth, and what does that have to do with whether or not something's moving or not? Can you explain that to me?
Yes, it's vastly important. So in the scenario that you're talking about, you need two things. You need two things to have what we call weight, because you need two surfaces to be pressed together. So there's a resistance of one and a motion of the other one. So what we call weight is simply a resistance to the motion. So what we now have is the question of, is it the table pressing down on the earth, or the Earth pressing up on the table, or both. Okay, that's the only scenarios that you have here. So if somebody's going to claim that the table now is pressing down on the Earth, they are claiming that there's a force acting in that vector, that there's a motion of something flowing towards the Earth in a particular vector.
Unbalanced force. Remember, I said unbalanced force earlier.
Man.
And you know how we can know the table. And you know how we know the table is sitting on the floor? If we can stick it on a scale, it gives a weight measurement. If I hang the table on a weight that gives measurement, it shows it's pulling down.
Can you weigh it in free fall?
The Earth rising, the table down. This is based on relative density disequilibrium because the air cannot support the table.
Yes, and it's very easily explainable.
The floor is supporting the table now.
So relative density disequilibrium is the relationship, so like a gas and a liquid, okay? So, relative density disequilibrium is the relationship between the air bubble and the water moving through the water, correct?
No, that's just relative density. We're talking about relative density disequilibrium. In other words, the disequilibrium between the mass, between the ratios of the object and the medium.
What?
The disequilibrium of the ratio between the medium and the object.
What does
it
that
has
mean?
an unbalanced force.
What's the unbalanced?
It's always seeking equilibrium.
So something's trying to move.
That's why I asked, do you understand what an unbalanced force is?
Something trying to move in that scenario, Flatsy.
Yeah, the object will move because it's unbalanced.
What do you mean it's unbalanced? From what?
Just like you get a bowling ball and an uneven surface, it starts to move because it has an unbalanced force.
What's the force?
The object's ratio to the ratio between the object and the medium. The
what does that
density.
mean?
The density difference, mate.
What's density?
It's literally just substance. Yeah, substance.
A concept.
It's a description.
It explains it. It's descriptive. Exactly. It's just descriptive.
Just like force and energy are just descriptive of motion.
No.
God damn, every word's descriptive. That's why we use language.
Dell, you're described as a man. Okay, are you not a man now?
I'm the matter that I am. A man is just a word.
So are you a man just because I described you as a man? Or are you a man because you are a man, Dell?
I am what I am. The word means nothing.
The word literally just describes. It's a language. It's used to explain things. If we don't have descriptive language, how the hell are we supposed to communicate? It's just communication.
And we have to agree on what those things mean as well. Exactly. Right? That's why we have a dictionary to describe the terms. Right.
So just as you said, Flatzoid, what does the word force and energy and potential energy mean? Because as you say, the word man only is a word to describe what I am.
Yeah.
So force and energy and these types of things, what are they describing?
Force and energy, work to do. So the energy is work to do. The force is attributed to cause something to move. So it's resistance to inertia.
I'm out.
Potential energy is the potential for it to use that energy. And kinetic energy is the use of that energy.
See, once you can get past this fucking nonsense, man, get back to me.
It's not nonsense. It's literally shown and demonstrated and explained to you in many different. There we go. This is exactly what I say. And notice he did not tell us how the Earth is rising, because this whole argument from the underpinning, destroys the accelerating Earth.
I couldn't be bothered. I had to stay quiet all night. I can't be bothered with him. Nah, can't be bothered.
I mean, even if he was right, let's say he's right. Let's say the Earth is moving upwards, then there would be some way to test it. So why isn't he trying to show us the test for that?
I've just sat here.
There isn't an upward rising Earth.
I've just sat here and edit a video for Vicky that's it on my phone while he's been chatting crap.
But I mean, all we did was repeat ourselves over and over in different ways.
I think I understand what he's trying to say. But what he's trying to say doesn't really answer the question of what he thinks it does. He's trying to say that because scientists use dumb words and things to describe things, which is what I argue this all the time. So I understand where he's coming from. But that doesn't mean that because we describe them in different ways and because we have these concepts that help us understand and transfer that information between the two of us, that doesn't mean that it's necessarily right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. But so I don't know where he's going with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Carl,
get what he means, but I don't get where he's going to go with it. If that means he's going to argue
no,
that the Earth is
no,
or isn't or whatever, you know what I mean?
I can
Like I
tell
don't.
you exactly why he's doing what he's doing. It's because he needs to claim moving is moving, you know? So what happens is he says the earth is moving because everything has to move. And he can't accept that's false. It's a false premise. That's
Right,
why
I get that part, but I'm saying
that's why I
it sounds like he's
specifically
mixing
brought
it
up
all
my
together, though.
yeah, but I'm saying that's why I specifically brought up my phone on a scale because it's static. He has to prove it's moving, and he can't. We can show it can change its weight due to the medium it's
And pressure
placed in.
can change
We
without
can show
weight.
demonstrations upon demonstrations of relative density disequilibrium nonstop. Even the globies for gravity have to evoke density because when they put in a vacuum, the manipulated variable is the medium.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Dell, he doesn't even have anything other than trust me, bro.
It's almost like
He
he's been
literally pushes
confused by
Spanish
some
society.
part of something that's convinced him of this, and then because it sounds like he genuinely believes it. Like I don't get
He
a
believes
weird vibe like as if he doesn't believe what he's saying. But at the same time, I find it hard to understand why he believes that means that anything's different from what we started with. You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that change the fact that we don't feel movement? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that change anything?
Exactly. Godzilla 37, I'm going to read everybody's super chats now. Really appreciate it all. Thank you for the $5 who says, trying to figure out why there's an up and down. I think it's a fool's errand, but I do respect Dell's dedication. I do agree, but I think it's Dell's ego that's getting to him because he can't accept that he is wrong. But thank you very much for the super chat.
Or maybe he just doesn't understand it. Like, I don't know if I actually understand it either, but I just know that there's certain things that are, and I can't really like argue with it because we see it every day, right? You know, like when I step on the dirt and I step on a muddy dirt, my foot sinks in the muddy dirt. Only way I can explain that is by describing it in energy forms, right? Like, so I don't understand why that would be a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I'm gonna say thank you again for all the super chats, guys. Appreciate it. I just want to read them all quickly out because there were quite a few, and Dal kept us busy. So Roger Ledwell for a whole bunch of super chats. Thank you very much. He says, parabolic water is tasty. Change your name to Jimmy. He'll come VC. This is before he came in. Just sitting here proving stationary. There we go. Exactly. That's what I said. I'm sitting here. Show me moving, please. Energy when something is acting upon Newton. Ooh. Calm down, son. You are a force. Dell would be a fun drinking buddy. I actually agree. I think he'll be fun to just, talk shit with.
If you don't piss him off.
Yeah, that's the only problem. He gets very pissed off. But I have to give it to him tonight. He did relax. So big ups to you with that tonight, Dell. But I think he's realized he hasn't got an argument. And that's why he's the whole time trying to say, oh, but it's just a concept. But yeah, go to print a shirt. It's moving because it's moving. I'd love to do that, actually. And then another $5.
With two O's. You got to have the two O's in there. It's moving because it's moving.
Exactly. Roger Edel for another $5. He says, give fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Love it, man. Really appreciate it. And then also explain textile strength, Dal. We couldn't even get there. And then Iron, can you concede the motion force point so we can get to the rising claim Earth? We were trying to get the Iron, but I can't concede it in his way because if I did, he would say, oh, you see, you guys can't now say there's a force or whatever because he has to fight no force. And then Godzilla again with trying to figure out there's an up and down. Thank you very much. And Roger Ledwell for another $2 who says, now you know why I invited him. Thank you, Roger. Really appreciate the super chat and Godzilla and everybody. You guys rock. So we did go on a bit longer tonight.
Aye, looks like it. Yeah.
But it's very simple.
Who are you?
The reason Dal can't move on from this is because he has no argument. He knows if he concedes a force, he can't claim the lighter is not dropping. He has to concede then, because if he concedes this lighter is dropping due to a force, he can't claim an upward rising Earth because it contradicts his whole argument.
Yeah.
and that's why he can't concede. So it's literally just him being dishonest, actually.
That's too bad too, because it seems like if he could just get that part, he would probably understand where we're coming from.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was going to say, have you found out for sure what time your debate is? Yeah. No.
Oh yeah,
yes.
well, I'm still waiting to find out from Jaron. He told me. Wait, hold up. Let me see something. Oh, I sent that to him. I said, "How's the thumbnail coming along?" That was. He said, "Just getting home. It'll be up soon." I don't know. Let's see. Let me look at his channel. Maybe he's on it.
It's not on YouTube yet.
Right. Just in case you are, I will do my show at 6 p.m. GMT tomorrow. So it's 2 hours before you go on at 8, usually flats, 8 my 8. Do you know what I mean? So whatever time that is for MD. So I'll be going 2 hours earlier tomorrow just in case flats is debating by my 8 o'clock.
That'll be great. Yeah, if he shows up. If Bob shows up.
If I go on early, I might have gone early
10
for no
a.m.
reason.
by the way.
Yeah. We'll see.
So Dave, are you going to debate me if Bob doesn't show up?
Sure, I'll steel man the globe.
I'll do it.
Gravity, parallax.
I'll just hit myself on the head with a baseball bat, and maybe it'll work just fine.
Let's just actually look what the votes came up to.
Okay, so he wants 1 p.m. Pacific. So yeah, that was, let me see, 1 p.m. Pacific, which is 4 p.m. Eastern, which is 10 p.m. right?
Yeah,
10 p.m. Yeah, 10 p.m. Yeah.
Right.
I have to go on
You see, Rachie, that's all you do when you don't know time. You just go Google quickly and you say, "Oh, the time differences." Okay. Well, anyway, the votes ended on RDD 47%, Space Pizza 16%, Globe 28%, and Simulation 8%. Ooh. So, any closing statements, guys?
I shut up, like
that hurt my brain.
Yeah.
It hurt me too because I couldn't get in and I wanted to say a lot, but I didn't get a chance to.
I just thought I'd leave it to you, because I'd end up arguing about it. Wow.
He's the kind of guy that I want to fight. I don't know why, but he has this aura about him that makes me want to fight with him, even though he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would be aggressive necessarily, but he just has a way about him that makes me respond to it.
You kidding me on? He's for Paisley.
Look, like I said, I think Dell would be a cool guy.
I'm joking.
I think he would too. I think, he probably is.
Just have a drink and stuff and just, talk shit. I think he'll be a cool guy. But when it comes to stuff like this, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he was getting at. I mean, it's sort of like this is elementary.
I wouldn't want to argue with him about politics, though. He's probably not very good at that either.
But like I said, I think his whole underpinning is he knows if he has to concede there's a force, then he can't claim his argument because he claims there is no force of an object falling because he fights for equivalent.
If he is genuine, how long do you think it'll take before he finally realizes that? Like, it shouldn't take him that long, right?
Sandra, we are tomorrow at 10 p.m. Central African time on Jaronism.
Oh.
So far, if Bob shows up.
Well, the other night, that old Craig, he didn't know what. I wonder what he did when he found out it was going to be Whitsitt coming on it. Because the other guy, the original guy that was supposed to do debating, dropped out before the debate, and Jaron was trying to find somebody to debate him. And next thing you know, I see it comes up and says Whitsitt, and I'm like, I would love to have been a fly on the wall when he found out that's who it was going to be.
Oh yeah, really.
Hey Roger, what's up, man?
Hey, wasn't that fun?
It was frustrating.
Yeah, I don't know.
Round and
it
round.
Was unbearable.
I keep on having to explain the same thing over and over, just in a different way.
Oh my God, man.
Well, he doesn't have anything. He just wants to sell the moving thing.
Yeah, that seems like it.
Well, he's got a catchphrase. He wants to make his own little following,
In a warehouse.
He's got a big one.
Hey Kevin, the poll is already actually over. It was just to say RDD, relative density disequilibrium, or flat Earth pizza, rising Earth, or globe gravity, or simulation. Because it was between Solar Wake tonight and Dell and Rising Earth. Well, I'm actually happy Dell came up. It's more exciting than he was here than to watch him debate Nick. So it was cool. But we'll probably be doing Awake Souls next time because they believe in Pac-Man simulation Earth. And they say it's biblical. And they say it's biblical. That's the thing that catches me. Where in the Bible does it say we live in a Pac-Man simulation?
So they're literally thinking like
Pac-Man, when you mean by that?
Mercator, you just go across and then come back over to the other side. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah,
you mean
they
an
believe you
asteroid.
just transfer. They believe you just transfer to the other side,
Oh, I see what you
like
said.
some portal somehow.
Right, like, yeah, I got you. Like the
And
portal you can go through.
apparently, we all just simulate. This is a simulation, so that's why sometimes you see curve and not.
You know, it might
Really
be a
odd stuff.
simulation,
And
but
apparently
it's
it's
a simulation
biblical.
of physical people. That's the thing.
Yeah, and apparently it's
It is a
simulation.
Yeah.
Where
And biblical.
are we from?
So
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
if
know
you
where
think
in
about it
the
this way,
Bible scripture.
we could have
but
been
I
put
want-
into a giant atrium, so it is possible that we were put into a giant atrium, and that's how we got in here. It is possible, but I'm saying, is it likely?
yeah, but-
Probably not.
But they claim that it's biblical, though, Ryan. Where in the Bible does it say we live in a simulation Pac-Man world?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I can't
In the book of Mario.
that, but I haven't read everything in memorizing, so I mean, who am I to say, right?
The book of Mario next to the book of Luigi.
Yes.
What about the cart? We gotta have the cart too.
And thou shalt jumpeth upon the mushroom, thereby saving the damsel.
Thou shalt eateth only the red mushrooms.
So we'll probably be doing that sometime. But yeah, tomorrow night I'll have a pre-show at 9:30 for half an hour before the debate, and then it will be the debate. So yeah, guys.
Okay, who's beating their damn phone against the wall?
Yeah, I'll be going to.
Just Roger at work again.
I'm going to
Damn it, Roger.
Dude.
I had to stop in and say that.
Did you fall into the dryer?
That's really bad, man.
Yeah,
But anyway, guys, thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. I'll see you guys then all tomorrow night. And then PJ's going to stream tomorrow. What time, PJ? 8.
6 p.m. GMT.
6 p.m. GMT, guys. Go watch
Just
PJ tomorrow. And
2 hours,
Yeah,
2 hours before normal. Earlier than normal.
awesome. And Sav, you doing a show tonight?
Yeah. Tonight, Monday night, we're going to be doing one. I want to look at some of this, what Sabina has been sprecking about, and going to look at some other things that I found here that's pretty insightful. Get the mind rolling. Some people going. Maybe come up if anybody wants to come up and have a discussion. So yeah, we're just going to do our regular Monday night thing, man.
Oh, that would be cool.
Right on.
Oh yeah, and Brian says he's got in 3 hours. He's got 3CPO Golden Calf on his channel. That's awesome. Yeah, go subscribe to 3CPO Golden Calf, awesome channel, and to Brian Stavely. Definitely go do that. So yeah, catch Brian Stavely later, catch Dave later on, and then catch PJ earlier, and then catch me later.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
So yeah, see you guys soon. Really appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the support. And oh yeah, hey Angela, baby, good to see you. Glad you could make it. You must see she's rocking that apron and shirt that she bought. It really looks cool. But yeah, guys, have an awesome day and evening further.